Welcome everyone to the September 16th DDA meeting. Liliana?
Jim Knight,
Here.
Vera Woodson,
Present.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Here.
Brian Rosen,
Here.
Alan Costello,
Here.
Cole Davids,
Here.
Arne Halliburton.
Here.
Off to the agenda approval. Does anybody have any additions or changes to make?
Move approval of the agenda.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we need an action? A vote on that?
That was.
That was it?
You can do all in favor.
Okay.
You can do all opposed, too.
Then all opposed? Okay, then it's approved. Now we have public comments. Everyone can speak for up to 2 minutes. Is there?
Anyone? No? Okay, you can start. Go ahead. I don't see anybody.
Good afternoon, Board. Mavis Benson, 800 Greenswood Court, Merchant Chair. First of all, congratulations to our Executive Director and her amazing team for taking the stage and being among the few recipients of the Awards of Excellence at last week's International Downtown Association Conference. This is an international competition, and the award is truly well deserved. I'm certain Laura will share more with you about this a little bit later. Additionally, congratulations are in order for the wonderful event held on the celebration of Jimmy Buffett Day. It was a very festive and lively occasion, once again bringing life to the Old School Square campus. I would also like to take a moment to remember the passing of Roy Simon. We are forever grateful for his immense contribution to our downtown. As the last sitting board that Roy knew for over 53 years, you carry his vision forward. Not only do we stand on his shoulders, but we also honor the many others who have served with commitment and dedication to make our downtown thrive for both businesses and residents. We as an organization and community must continue to work together, celebrating Roy's life by serving in a manner that upholds his legacy. 53 years ago, Laura was just a toddler at her father's feet as he helped lay the foundation for the DDA. There's no doubt, knowing the Simons' love for dancing, that she probably danced while standing on his shoes as the organization grew. She has lived through the evolution of the DDA, and now, with a lifetime of experience, she naturally and beautifully fills her father's shoes, carrying his legacy forward with grace and passion. And on another note, we have a merchant meeting by Zoom this Wednesday at 9 o'clock. If you don't have the information, I'm sure the team will get it out to you, and hope to see you there. Thanks.
Thank you, Mavis.
Hello, hi, I'm Daphne Antoine, 1291 West Magnolia Circle. I'm with Sister Cities of Delray Beach, and I thank you, Board, for this opportunity. I just wanted to come here and speak about the signage we talk about and for the Visitors Bureau, and we had been in communication back and forth about the sizes, and I just thought that I'd bring it to the boards for you to be able to see the different sizes so that we may get a final direction on which way for us to be able to display Sister Cities of Delray Beach. But before I do so, we're super excited to share with you that we are part of the Do Good Delray, and for the Do Good Delray, we're putting together an event at Arts Warehouse where we are honoring the four cities that we are in relation with, one being Aka in Haiti, Miyazu, Japan, Moshi, Tanzania, and Pesaro in Haiti. So at Arts Warehouse, we're going to do something very unique and fun. We're going to have like tables designed for each of the cities, and we have different committees working together so that they can showcase the cities and for us to honor them. And the title of the event is Building Bridges, Sister City That Celebrate. And it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to truly honor and to really kind of bring attention to the importance of relationship and honoring each other's culture. So I would like to invite you guys. Our event is October 22nd at Arts Warehouse, and we're going to have someone that's going to be doing the traditional Japanese tea ceremony. Someone donated to have a company that brings in Haitian coffee, and he's flying in to do the demonstration for us. That's going to be for Haiti, and then for Tanzania, we're doing Shai tea. Well, the word shy means tea, so when you say shy tea, you're actually saying tea. So, and then for Italy, we're having Rich, which is a community person, and he's going to be sharing with us his Italian culinary. So we're working very hard to bring some attention to Delray Beach Sister Cities organization and really to bring back the pride, because we're doing great work and we have wonderful relationship that span into a very broad sector, and I think it's an opportunity for us to showcase that. So real quick, I'm going to show the different sizes. So this is the size that we were told for us to use. This is another size, and this might be a more appropriate size, if not a little bit bigger. If we go with this size, oh, sorry, it's upside down. My apologies. So here it is right here. This size is just really small, but if that's what we're being given, then as long as we get let people know about Sister City as an organization, because we're really making some wonderful impact, not only in the community but also in the lives of the young adults that leave this community to go to college, and it's just very much a legacy organization. So I think with the tourism office, if we can let people know that we are here and we're making an impact. So thank you. So here are the sizes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Officer Green. Just a little update as far as downtown public safety. Everything has been going according to plan. A lot of our homeless community has died down, I would say, as far as their activity on trespassing in the old school square. Been doing a lot of traffic stops on the box trucks. That's been good. As far as the pedestrian traffic, it's still heavy as it is. Obviously, we're growing as a city. But I would say right now what we're trying to enforce a lot is the ride share. A lot of those guys are stopping in the middle of the road, so it's causing a little bit of a backup traffic. So if we could do better on signage and try to get with the Uber app or the Lyft app company to try to update where those drop-off and pickup points are, and also restrict them areas from stopping in the middle of the roadway, that might help us. So that way we're not obviously stopping them in the middle of the road, lights and sirens and stuff like that, because we're trying to keep that down, as you guys may know. We want people to come into the city. Other than that, business owners have been compliant so far as to the standards of the city of Delray Beach. So other than that, we don't really have too many updates, but we're doing our best that we can downtown to try to prevent those things and work real good with the business owners and also you guys and also with the city to try to maintain compliance. So, no problem.
Chair, if I could ask a question?
Go ahead.
Or my comment, it's not a question, a comment. I see that especially on Federal Highway right there. They stop just by Atlantic. The other thing I'm seeing still quite a bit, and I don't get it, these people walk in front of the trains or they're committing suicide or whatever, but on Federal Highway at Atlantic on a regular basis on 5th and 6th, both, the light's clearly green going through and people just walk right on through. And
Correct.
I see it all the time, and cars are moving at 35 miles an hour or whatever. It's still hard to move away from a car that's going 35 at that location.
So obviously we see that too, and most times we're in our cars. 50% of the times we're out walking, so it's kind of hard sometimes to go down and stop every person at every point. We do have the yellow shirts that I think we can use a lot more at those areas to just try to let people know, hey, this is a stop sign. That way, if we're not there, they can be in a position of liaison for us to say, follow the rules. Because if we start giving everybody walking pedestrian tickets, and they're only here for a couple of days, they may not know, they might, so it may be, something that we can work together with the yellow shirts to try to help us on that, because they help us a lot with the homeless, community. So I think they can help us with the pedestrian traffic as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question, and it pertains to the beach.
Yes, ma'am.
So if a lifeguard stops someone on the beach who has a dog,
Mm-hmm.
what is the protocol for how they handle that if the ordinance states that it's a violation of city ordinance? Do you all get a call, or how does that happen?
So what happens is we'll actually come out and we'll give that owner a warning. We don't necessarily document it, but we document it in our system, our CAS system, to say that we spoke to the owner. If we're giving them a ticket, then we'll ask for their information. Let's say if we gave them a warning already and we're familiar with the person, the dog. Normally it's individuals who have been here a long time and they've never had to put a dog on a leash. So those people who become frequent flyers, then we start to get them documented into our system. So we try to do it best as we can to work with the lifeguards and try to deter dogs from being on the beach. And also I think, better signage at the entrance of the beaches may be something that the city could get and work with, or you guys can get in touch with and collaborate on that. So that way there can be a clear understanding that there's no dogs on the beach, or there's no dogs off the leash and things like that may deter that situation.
So the reason why I bring that up, I happened to visit the beach, and there were 2 dogs off leash running around, frolicking with their owners. And I watched the lifeguard approach one of the women, and she had a back and forth with him. And I thought, there should be no back and forth. There's
no
signs
dialogue.
up there, the ordinance 101-27. Why do I know that? Clearly states that there's no pets allowed. And my friend that was with me, one of my sorority sisters, she has a dog. And she said, well, the beach dog area is very nasty. And I said, that's the point.
Yeah,
That is the point.
Exactly.
That's why there's a dog area, so that we don't have feces and kids playing in the sand and getting sick and all of those types of things. But I felt like he didn't have the proper tools in order to stop the back and forth with this person who decided to assert their privilege on the beach, to tell them you need to leave completely when there's a back and forth.
Correct.
And so I don't know if there's a way that they can give a warning ticket or something, not a ticket that comes with a fee, but something that says, you were spoken to, blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
Because to call you all to come all the way from where you are, may be across town, to talk to somebody about a dog on the beach, I think is kind of a,
Yeah, it's kind of a nuance in a way.
Yes.
And I think as far as it goes with the owners and also the lifeguards, they need to also understand that lifeguards are there for a reason and they have an importance. But I also think that with us, we need to be more cognitive and be upfront with the owners. And if the lifeguard is giving you more than one chance, I would say personally, that's already your warning. Call in law enforcement. Now we're here to issue a ticket. So that's maybe something we can work with the city. With the police department and say, listen, there's no pass go. Right at this point, the lifeguard is taking his time or her time out of her day from watching the safety of people to tell a person that there's already rules there that they can't have their dogs on the beach. There shouldn't be no dialogue between that person and the lifeguard, and I understand that totally. So I would say if it was me, I'm giving out that ticket immediately, because if you give them a warning, send them out on their way, a different lifeguard may be there and they might have the same conversation knowing that it's not the same lifeguard. So I think that's something that we can bring back to the police department and also the units that work, the units that work down there, and just explain to them, when you get called, if you get called, issue that person a ticket immediately, so that way they do understand that they are not above the law. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Awesome. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. We're still open for public comment. That's it? Okay. Public comment's closed. Thank you. And now we move to a motion to approve the consent agenda. Does anyone have any question?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Was that a second?
Second, yes.
Okay, so Liliana?
Aaron Halliburton,
Yes.
Cole David,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
Yes.
Harold Van Arm,
Yes.
Buell Woodson,
Yes.
Jim Knight.
Yes.
Okay. So before we go into the regular agenda, before any items are presented, does any board member have a personal or business relationship that would need to be recused? Okay. Laura, will you call?
All right, so we have the applicant here to present. Hi. Just state your name for the record and enter into the project. Excuse me.
Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Linares. I'm with Randall Soft Architects. We are the architects for the project. So we've been here. I know the agenda states something about the architectural style. I'm not sure whether that's something that we have to discuss today. The architectural style says the agenda. Okay, I'm sorry. So we're here to present the pool setback and a landscape reduction waiver. That is what we're here to present to you guys today. This is the rendering of the proposed project. Just press play. Oh. The aerial of the proposed projects is here within the Caspian condominiums. We've been here and been approved by, with the board for the architectural style already. We're here requesting a waiver for a reduction of the landscape islands, which is the islands that are facing the alleyway, facing the parking lot for the Caspian condominiums. We're asking for a landscape reduction of 8 inches in total. The required landscape width is 5 feet. But in order for us to be able to provide a minimum of 18-foot driveway for each individual unit, which will park specifically 2 vehicles, an 8-inch reduction of the islands is necessary in order for us to be able to do that. We feel that it's more important to try to have the 2 vehicles parked. Not that it's a requirement, but is more for the accessibility of guests for each individual unit. To have two parked vehicles here. Therefore, we're asking for a reduction of 8 inches in total for each individual island, which is 5 in total in between every driveway. In addition to that, we're also asking for a reduction of setback for the pools. This is something that has been previously in other projects been awarded to very similar projects. Townhomes, the units themselves are approximately around 23 feet in width. Therefore, a 10-foot setback between pools or between properties and the pool itself will basically just not give you much of a pool left. We are proposing to have a 6-foot wall between units, a privacy wall between units. Therefore, you do have the privacy between each individual unit internal courtyard. So we're asking for these basically are plunge pools. There's very small pools. I believe they're roughly 12 feet by 8 feet, I believe. That is what we're asking for. Sorry. Yes, they're just under 8 foot wide and they're about 12 foot in length, these plunge pools that we're asking for the reduction of the setbacks. So we're technically having the three internal pools we're asking for those to go up against the privacy wall. Now, the two outer units, there will be 5 feet, which is the required setback for the units themselves. So that is a structural setback that is required. So that's pretty much what we're here to present to you guys. We have some additional renderings for you guys to be able to see. I'm not sure whether this is relevant. The floor plans, this is the enlarged floor plans showing the proximity of the pools and the relationships of the pools to the courtyard and to the units themselves. Upper floor plans, again, may not be relevant, but we're just here to present the project on its entirely. 2D elevations of the project itself. That's pretty much concludes my presentations. If any questions.
We do have someone from the city that actually has
That's,
a comment.
yeah, that's what I want to ask.
Great. Go ahead. You can come on.
What?
Let him do his presentation first.
For the record, Rafiq Ibrahim, Principal Planner with the Development Services. And I would just like to make a clarification that the applicant is not really familiar with the DDA process, so he just mixed between the waiver request that will go before the SPRAB next month and the overall presentation of the project. So it's 5 townhouses, masonry modern. The masonry modern architectural style was presented to the City Commission and granted approval with some recommendations that will go before the board, the SPRAB, for final action. And the SPRAB is the acting board. SPRAB will act on the 2 waiver requests, which are the internal adjustment of the swimming pools and a 5 feet landscape reduction.
5 feet or 5 inch?
It's required 5 feet, and they will reduce it to whatever it is, like just a few inches. Yeah. So the 5 feet is the required.
So that 5-foot setback has a reason.
It's not setback. It's 5 foot landscape requirement between 2 adjacent. So yes, it has a reason.
There's the pool setback and there's the 8-inch landscape difference.
Yeah. The
So
pool
we're talking about
setback.
the pool 5-foot.
Pool setback. Pool, its internal adjustment is different than the 5 foot setback. 5 foot setback is actually at the driveway at the rear side, so it's not within the internal pool setback at all. Is this clear?
No, it's not clear, 'cause it's not what he
So
said.
can you ask me the question again?
Well, he said there was a 10-foot setback.
The pool setbacks are 10 feet.
Is there a reason for that? Is there a safety reason? Is there a structural reason?
Yes, just privacy, and this is a code requirement. So the applicant is requesting, in his application, internal adjustment, and this internal adjustment is presented to the SPRAB, and the SPRAB is the acting board, so they will make the determination whether or not to grant this internal adjustment to reduce the setback.
But he's still here so that we make a recommendation if we disagree.
Of course.
That is why we're here, right?
Yes, the whole project is before the DDA, including everything, including the appearance, the architecture style, and the overall proposal.
So, is there any safety reason or structural reason that that setback must be adhered to? Or is this merely a cosmetic change?
It's a privacy issue. There is no, from my point, just I'm an architect, so I cannot answer for this. I just would like to say that there is no safety reason associated with this request.
Okay, and the 8-inch setback that we're losing on the landscape, was that merely 8 inches of grass, literally? Because it looks
Yes.
like that's,
Yes.
okay. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
So I have a couple of comments. First of all, beautiful project. I think it's be very successful. I've followed a number of these projects where they have the access coming off the alleyway and so forth. As it deals with the landscaping, and I believe it was 8 inches off of each landscape aisle across the 5 of them. I think that makes sense. I'd rather see the cars inside, right? And we'd like to see, instead of, if you can only fit one car in, you got one car sitting out there, right? You have guests come over, now all of a sudden you got those 2 spots so the guests can stay there if they're visiting you, whatever else. So I'm certainly in favor of that. And I've seen other places where they put the pool up against the wall. I don't see it as a safety concern or anything like that at all. So I would be in favor of supporting both of them.
Vera?
Yeah, I looked over the plans and noticed that the pools for 2 units were side by side on the wall. And I didn't know if that was for drainage, so that both pools, when they're drained, are they using the same system to go out? That was one of the concerns that I had. Because if we both drain on the same day, or if there was an overflow of rain and they had to drain the pools, like underground, I didn't understand. I see the surface of what you've drawn, but that was one of the concerns I had.
So the locations of the pool and that particular units, they just happen to be that way. Each individual unit is a mirror, is identical. And because of the mirroring or the layout of the unit just happens to be that way, there is no specific engineering reasoning for the pools to be located that way. Again, there's a demising wall, and these pools, whether there's an adjoining pool right next to that or not, it hits that wall. So no engineering purpose for that.
No shared draining system, though?
There is a drainage system in place for these courtyards, but they're independent from the pool.
Okay. That somewhat answers my question.
What she wants to know is the plumbing for each pool totally separate and individual?
Yes.
Whether they're next
Yes,
to each
it would
other?
be.
Each unit has its own pool plumbing.
That is correct.
Very good. Thank you.
Anybody else? No other comments?
Is it, the pool waiver, is that just between units 2 and 3? Is that the
Repeat the question
the
again.
pool waiver, is that just between units 2 and 3, or where does that?
For the 3 internal pools.
Okay. So that.
I wish, well, if the city feels that it's not a safety concern or a structural concern, and it's just a matter of privacy and you've handled that, and the city's okay with that, you're giving you're suggesting that this be, our recommendation be approval?
Well, the site plan report is not prepared. We did not prepare it yet, but we did have conversation with the applicant and trying to explore different solutions about this. So staff will put recommendations in the staff report. I think there could be some alternative designs, but it's just very difficult for the applicant to comply to this rule, and especially also the city has a history of granting similar internal adjustment to other projects.
I understand, but
So
we rely on you to recommend approval or
we
disapproval. to us.
recommended the change in the design just to mirror some of the units. And the applicant explored it, and it was not feasible for them. So we'll also include this to in our report.
Does anyone else have a comment?
So
Yeah.
just the one thing, so for you, Al, just on the recommendations, so it's really put back to the board to provide direction. If there is something that you have a concern about, you can include that or that could be part of
I
the
understand.
recommendation.
I understand. I'm just
Right.
trying to grasp. Usually, so in the many years that I was here, the city always had a recommendation, and there was always a final plan.
So things have changed a little bit, so,
Yeah, well, this
right.
isn't a final plan, so
Right,
I don't know
so
how
they
we
don't-
can. I don't know how we can recommend or not recommend a lot less than final plan.
Well,
We can say,
Are we supposed
Yeah,
to?
this is what this is the
Yeah,
things
this
that
is
we're
what
looking at. So again, if I will
Thank
go
you.
ahead and just make a motion, just so we can kind of move this forward. If that's all right, we've had some discussion. And the motion would be that Fifth Avenue Townhomes 142 and 1523 Southeast Fifth Avenue Level 2 site plan application with associated internal adjustment for pool setback, landscape waiver, and request to utilize masonry modern architectural style are pursuant to our land development regulations 8.2. The Downtown Development Authority for the City of Delray Beach recommends as follows. 1, that the proposed request implements the downtown development plans, downtown master plan, Pineapple Grove master plan, West Atlantic Avenue master plan, and the shoppability analysis. Can we get a
Second? You're making the motion?
Yeah, I'm making
There's
the
a
motion.
second.
Any further discussion, or should
What about the other 2 points?
we move to that next?
Okay, you do them one at a time.
One at a time.
Can I just ask? Sorry, the city made a recommendation for an architectural change that they said was not feasible, or what?
Yes, the city, when we presented the application to City Commission, we had many recommendations, the architecture style, which the applicant is working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the architecture style was approved as a style, but there will be some more changes to the plans
Okay.
to accommodate the recommendation that we made to
Yeah.
City Commission.
What was that recommendation? Because modern
Well,
masonry, I think, is
sure.
a style that fits.
So in general, like the side elevations, as you see it, is the articulation of windows are not really well articulated between different floors, and lack of different horizontal elements that are not really, so the space, the solid and void are like loose, so they need some horizontal elements. They need to incorporate at the rear elevation some of the elements and the materials from the front elevation, so the project will look as a whole. And at the front elevation, we made recommendations for the entrance to be more emphasized and to be more incorporated with the pedestrian, which the applicant are working on it.
Can I ask a question, Al? Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. What we're here to do is within our packet. It sounds as if they're going to either come back or this is going to go to SPRAB and that's going to be worked through, because what we're supposed to be focused on is right here.
Yeah, I see
what
it now.
The vice chair read off. So we need to stick to that and narrow our scope so that we can make sure we're in alignment with what the requirement or the request is.
A little different than it was before.
For sure.
Yes, okay. Then we have a motion and a second. Liliana?
Jim Knight,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
Yes.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Cole Devitt,
Yes.
Aaron Halliburton.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the second motion would be the following, plus that the proposed request encourages economic development and promotes the downtown as prosperous downtown area. Can I get a second?
I'll second that as well.
Liliana?
Aaron Halliburton,
Yes.
Cole Devitt,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Ye-
Brian
Yes.
Rosen,
Yes.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
Yes.
Jim Knight.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I make the update?
Sorry, so he has actually one additional update, something completely separate than the past presentation, but thank you very much for.
Yeah, thank you. So, City Commission in the last meeting, they decided to hold a workshop on October 15th to discuss the in-lieu parking ordinance.
Right, so
What-
last week at the City Commission's workshop, they were going to discuss the in-lieu parking, but they moved that to a different workshop. So that is going to be taking place
October 15th.
October 15th, so it'll be following our next board meeting. So
That will be just a commission workshop.
commission workshop regarding the in-lieu parking updates and changes that they are presenting.
Do we have representation there? Can we speak
So-
at that meeting?
So the workshop, I was told, will have opportunity for interaction. Typically, there's not. So right now, they're setting it up that it would have ability for stakeholder input.
So it's going to be an agenda item for us at the October meeting.
Yes, we can put it on the October meeting to discuss.
I'd like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to new business, I'm going to jump in here.
Thank I thought you were.
Okay. So under new business, we have, these microphones are hot. First on item 7A. So this is around the Old School Square fees. So as 2 meetings ago, you all approved the, or maybe last meeting, we approved the fees and our ability to administer any changes in the fees. And then if it goes above that, which is 50% is the threshold of the fees, it would come back to you. So these first two items, A and B, are both for, these events have been occurring at Old School Square campus for many years, and we have the presenters here, so I wanted to invite them both up. First we'll do 7A, which is Muscle on the Beach Car Show. And we have, I believe, George here to present to you all and his desire for the fee.
Hi, George Walden. I'm the co-producer of Muscle on the Beach. Danica Sanborn is the executive director of Sandaway. So we're here to request that you guys waive the rental, the daily fee for rental of Old School Square. First of all, this is an entire not-for-profit venture on our part. All of our net proceeds get donated to Sandaway, and I'll let Danica talk about how important it is to Sandaway. On the other side of the coin, Muscle on the Beach meets the requirements of, let's say, the downtown development mission statement, right? We drive maybe 5,000 people to downtown during our one day. We have an international host, Mike Brewer from Wheeler Dealers, a Discovery Hit Network show. He reaches out to his 1 million fan base and gives recognition to Delray Beach. So, in short, all in all, this is good for Delray, it's good for the downtown, it's great for Sandaway. And by the way, we're there at 6 o'clock in the morning setting up. We're out by 4. You'd never know we were there. We don't even require any assistance from the DDA.
Just the pass on the money.
Huh?
Just the waiver.
Well, yeah. Well, every dollar that we save and every dollar that we raise goes to Sandaway.
Yep.
And just to give you an idea of things that it has helped us with, is we teach over 6,000 students per year environmental education, and we haven't had to turn away any Title I funding, so that means those students can come to us for free. They do a 2-hour field trip, they learn all sorts of things that they need to know for their testing in school, and we're very lucky that we have this extra funding so that those kids don't get turned away. Even through transportation, we pay for their busing there as much as we can as well. As you know, added costs to any nonprofit, we have emergency costs that come up. We just had to spend $3,000 on veterinary bills this past week. We had a couple emergencies, including our owl who is sick and being nursed back to health. But we're proud to say that we have a great veterinarian. She works with us, but funding from this event goes directly towards the children, towards the animals, and towards the mission, and also to improving Delray Beach here in the community.
Okay. Does anybody have any comment?
I have some questions because it's probably going to be for both of the groups, so let's ask one time so that we can find out. The cost that we are indeed waiving for their use, and then the impact, he stated there was no cleanup, but is there impact to the landscaping, the grass, by putting the cars over there or any of that nature? And then do our merchants feel like there's a return on investment? I would assume so, because they're bringing 5,000 people downtown to shop and eat and all of the extras that go along with that. But I guess, what is the cost of the waiver that is being asked for? I think that should be part of.
Sure. So the fees for the rental of the campus is, for the nonprofit, would be $3,000 for the daily use. That goes towards the DDA's rental fees. There's also a special event permit that is put through for every event that happens at Old School Square campus in downtown, which is put through to the city, which will incur city services such as police, fire rescue, parks and recreation, which is really the litter pickup and maintenance of that. So that is totally separate than this waiver. So from our perspective, this is a one-day event. There's very little. This is probably the most time we've spent talking about it at all for the planning of the event. He's got a very experienced crew that comes in, very organized. There is an impact to the lawn, but
Yes, there is, yeah.
there is not. It's minimal, based on the time that it's there. They're in and out very slowly and organized, so it's not a huge impact. It does close also down 2nd Avenue, so there are vehicles and vendors on 2nd Avenue between the alley and right at Arts Garage. So there is a connectivity to the businesses there on 2nd Avenue, and it does have a very positive impact. We've seen that. And it also happens during the Green Market. So the Green Market is on the front lawn of the museum during that time, and there is a lot of connectivity there as well. So,
Could I add one thing? We don't compete with local businesses, so we don't have any food vendors. We don't serve alcohol. Most of our vendors are car related, and they're fairly exclusive to what they do.
How do you guys raise the money? Is it donations, auction, tickets?
Yeah, so it comes in various forms. The participants in the show, the exhibitors, the car guys, will put up, their fee is $125, right? We solicit local businesses downtown to put up raffle items. Faraday is actually opening a store. I contacted them. They gave us a gift certificate that we can raffle off, right? So a lot of the local businesses are supporting us with raffles. Seagate is supporting us with a 2-night stay, a spa day, golf. So and we have a few national sponsors. UBS and Aon are sponsoring us on a national basis.
Laura, there's a history here. So were there any charges to this for them last year?
no, so they've come in under previous. Really, as we were in the transition where they had already had their approval and the fees were waived in the past. So we have a history of waiving the fee.
And your recommendation is that we continue?
I do. I think the impact to our organization is minimal.
Okay. And this
And
is,
for as far as staff time, which is really our expenses.
right?
I think there are others that there is impact, but this is not one of those.
Okay.
Can I add one other thing?
Sure.
All of us that work on the show are all volunteers. We are not paid, we're not compensated, so we do it for the love of the car community and for Sandaway.
Well, I know it's an excellent show, and I know that people love it, and that it's been a success. And the recommendation from Laura counts heavily for me. So I can't make a motion, but I can tell you that I approve. Very much
can
in
I just
favor.
say this?
Yeah.
Although this is a wonderful event, seen it the whole nine.
Yeah.
But we're not only voting for this, we're setting a precedent. So we need to be very cognizant of that, because what we do for one, equitably, we have to do for all in some way. We have to think of that clearly, because now that we have these new fees, remember the Downtown Development Authority is being charged with raising funds. That is our focus going forward, is as the city begins through the process of removing funding, they're going to have to supplement that with funding. So we need to, everybody's going to get their one vote, but I just want everyone to know that we're setting a precedent for what that actually looks like going forward.
And
Quentin?
I just want to
Quentin?
just say,
Yeah.
there is technically no precedent being set, because each individual application request is held on its own merits, but there is some level of fairness and opportunity that is being presented. So I just want to make sure that while there may be some level of precedent, there is no legal precedent that you have to provide the deference to any future applicants based on this approval.
Laura, is there a way to categorize this in such a way that when the next party comes up and says, I want the same treatment that they got, that Vera's out. I see Vera, I would like to argue with you, but I can't, and I agree with you that there's a need to be very clear on this. I suddenly find myself, saying, well, wait a second, how about if it's me next month? So how can we categorize this and qualify it in such a way that next time we say, these are the barriers to a waived or reduced rate, other than the waived and reduced rate we've already established?
I'll take a shot just because I think I can do it pretty easily. As Quentin said, every application is based on its own merits. We're making that clear. That's the decision-making process. I will say the merits on why I would support this is, one, it's supporting a great local non-for-profit. Sandway House is, again, one of these amazing assets we have in the city and we've had for a long time, and we need to support this place. There's living animals there, the kids getting off their phones, getting in front of these animals and experiencing, what we have at this nature center, which is a lot, I think is important. Two, we know it's a very low impact event. So for that reason, I'm in support of it. And three, we've done it before, we've waived it before, and they've raised close to $50,000 in the past. So again, based on those couple merits on this specific situation is why I would vote in favor. And I think if we look at every application and look at whether they're the same type merits, generally they will be. They're helping the economy, they're bringing people to downtown, supporting a great organization. And again, the $3,000 that we take is not going to be a huge amount based on some of the other opportunities we have to generate income. And I think, again, we're given these city dollars to activate and create this place, and this place has always supported a number of other places in our downtown DDA area, including Sandway. So again, that's just my feelings, and that's how we can look at each one.
I
How about
agree
you
with
put that
that.
in a motion? Those
Yeah,
3 points in a motion.
Can we pause for a minute, though?
The motion's just yes or no. The points will always be different.
I'm hoping that based on this discussion, though, that we do come up with some form of a rubric, so that in the future we can all somewhat weigh the events, so that when we say on our own merits, it's not on our own emotions, and that there is something that is quantifiable, that we say this fits within the scope of what we intend, and that it goes along with what the master plan is for the city and the economic development. That's all I'm asking. I love the event. I think it's wonderful. It does impact. I walked by Sandway this morning at 6:30, and I love your program. I've been over there. So,
Aaron.
yeah.
I gotta agree with Vera 100% because, when you see numbers like 10 million social media expressions, 135 cars, 5,000 people estimated, we got nonprofits that don't get nowhere near that. So you just said everyone's getting waived now. Whether you say it doesn't, Quentin, you just said everybody's gonna have the option to get, or probably gonna get waived.
Everybody does have the option.
So they're gonna get waived. I'm just saying it's a big event. A lot of our nonprofits don't even come close to this. So how are we ever going to charge anybody else again if we can give a guaranteed moneymaker?
I think the
It's
3
just
points.
it's just the fee. They're not making money for the DDA.
This is a huge event
I
If I
understand
may-
compared to other nonprofits. That's all I'm saying. What Vera said is absolutely right. You tried to say it's not going to happen, but what she said is absolutely right.
I agree with the posture what the vice chair put this in. You have to make the rationale for your decision on the record. And he said points that, based on what he's seen, what he's heard of this particular event, are the reasons for his voting for it.
Actually, he was a lot more specific. The economic impact, the fact
I-
that they,
I understand. I
the
wasn't
fact that
going
they,
over
the
his
fact
points.
that they support a very special organization that provides services for nonprofit. And what was your third point?
And there's a number of them. It was economic development, both through the non-for-profit that we're supporting as well as the event itself. It's the fact that this has happened in the past.
And a lack of
And no DDA this DDA doesn't have to do anything. Laura shows up with a lemonade.
And the fact
walks
that it's a
around.
low impact for our staff as far as our resources are concerned.
You can be a judge.
Liliana, can you get those 3 points into a motion?
All right, I'll try it again.
Thank
I'd like a motion to move forward with the waiving of the $3,000 fee for the Muscle on the Beach event due to a few specific reasons, in particular being the economic impact both the non-for-profit provides that receives funds as well as the event itself, the fact that it is low impact on our own resources at the DDA, and the fact that we waived it last year, and it was a great event.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
And you also mentioned that it was a local nonprofit.
Yes, and the fact that it is a local non-for-profit.
Thank you.
Jim Knight,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
I'm going to say yes, but this is opening a door. I'm just saying.
Harold Van Arm,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
I'm going to say yes with the understanding it was a door that we opened when we set the rules just last month.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Cole Davids,
Yes.
Arnold Burton.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laura?
Yes. All right, so the next is the Cocoa Market. So the Cocoa Market is now become a huge staple in our community, such as our Green Market. But our wellness community, as you all know, is tremendous in Delray Beach. And it is a market that grew, or actually basically was taken out of Veterans Park, started there, and was a city park rental, an event that happened in Veterans Park, and was unfortunately asked to move out of that space due to the construction that's happening there. The parking changes and different things that were happening. So transitioned into Old School Square with the understanding that its fees were very similar. So it moved, and the fees were increased a little bit. They also increased based on special event permitting fees, and have been at $600+ per event. There's 12 events a year, because it is a monthly it's the first Sunday of every month that takes place. And Corey's here to give you a little more background, but that fee is obviously a reduced fee, but it is a fee that does again, based on the impact for the DDA, is minimal.
Can you tell us the number that is the request for the waiver, the financial request?
So the request is to keep the fee at the $630. $650.
$650. When it should be.
That is $3,000.
Thank you.
$3,000 per event.
And
that happened within 5 seconds.
And
that happens 4 times a month?
4 times a month, yes.
12 months a year?
Once a month.
Once a month, sorry.
Once a month,
sorry.
every month a
Green
year,
Market's
so 12 times.
Yeah. So the Green Market has a similar fee base as well, and that's been going on for 30+ years. So, but Corey's here, and it back to the impact as far as the DDA is zero. If anything, it's a opening of the doors, and that's it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Corey Heyman. Laura said a whole lot. I don't have a whole much else to add, but as she said, we moved from Veterans Park to Old School Square, and with that, the event has grown, and the associated costs have grown, and we continue to reinvest more and more into this event. We respectfully ask the continuation for the reduced rate, which will allow us to sustain the event. It's free for the public. It's creating accessible wellness to everybody in Delray Beach. We've got yoga and sound healing and meditation, and people come out and they spend the whole day. It's alcohol free. It's low impact. There's never been any fights. There's never been any issue that anyone has had with this event. I also wanted to add that Cocoa Market lists the DDA as a sponsor at every single event, and our partnership has been really beautiful. They are prominently displayed on all our marketing materials. We thank them at every event on the microphone when I make my announcement. The community wellness aspect is huge. This event really fosters connections and enhances the sense of community in Delray Beach. Our missions are very aligned to grow, strengthen, and enhance the economic vitality of the downtown Delray Beach, as well as activating the space. We've not raised our vendor fees since the move to Old School Square, and our mission is also to support the small businesses, which is something that we do. People spend their whole day in Delray, even if they're coming from out of town, and they go to the local businesses, they get dinner, and they, reinvest their money back into the local economy. And I think those are all my points. Yeah. So thank you for your consideration. And this is John, by the way, my partner, who's standing up here.
Hi, John.
Aaron?
Can I?
Thank you. Go ahead, Nora.
Yeah, I just wanted to just jump in because I should have probably said this on the first one. Just remember at Old School Square, the campus itself that we're managing and activating, we can't do something there. It's meant to be 365 days of the year, right? We personally, as an organization, can't do that. So it is really it's invaluable to have others utilize this space and bring programs such as Muscle on the Beach Park Car Show or the market or a concert too that we're not actually having to invest and create, because in order for us to create events like that does cost a lot more. So I just wanted, that is part of our overall goal of the campus, is to ignite and activate the arts and culture in the community and gathering spaces. So just to keep that in mind.
To reiterate,
yes.
This does several things for us. First of all, the Old School Square rentals weren't for profit so much for the DDA as for covering costs and for expenses and any replacement of materials or whatever. And that is the $650 more than covers that every month. And so once a month we have you there, adding to our culture, adding to the business climate. All of that is wonderful.
What are the vendor fees?
$200.
Okay.
And we let nonprofits come in for free.
Can I speak on this? I love Cocoa Market. I love what it does for the city. I love the expansion. I love it's a female-owned business. I love all the folks that are involved. I think it is definitely, we used to be known as the rehab city, and I think it actually changes some of that into the wellness city, and I think that is beneficial to our reputation. When I came in here, the first thing I thought was, okay, well, Cocoa Market does make a lot of money. I see all the vendors. I mean, we're up to like 67, maybe 70 something last time I checked. You make a lot of money. You do very well, and I'm proud of you. But now that we've just waived a fee for another organization, I can't turn around and say, hey, you should pay, because that's not equitable. And that's what I spoke about in the first go round. So now we're down this train of waiving and accommodating these organizations, and I agree, they are activation for us, that we don't have to get our hands dirty. That's what this is all about. It's great, but at the same time we have to balance that with the financial needs of the organization, because the sponsorships, we're not gaining them any faster. We need to have some things offset. But today, because we've already voted to waive one, I have to go with the request on the table. But that's the lesson that needs to be learned, that we did set a precedent from the first one, because now, yes, you do, not legally, okay? Not legally, Quentin, but we do. In fairness, that is a precedent, because here's a female-run business, and if we turn around and tell her, nope, you need to keep paying, or I'm gonna up it 10%, that doesn't bode well on the same day that we just let another organization walk out of here paying nothing. So all I'm saying is that was what I was getting at from the first go round. Aaron concurred with me, but as it stands,
There's a
I
huge
have to move
financial
forward.
difference between these two. She's got 12 events a year. I'm saying you guys do fantastic work. It's like a staple for downtown, but it was one event per year versus 12 events per year. I mean, that's a big financial difference.
No difference, really.
How?
I mean, if we're looking at it as a one-to-one basis, she's doing 12 events that are one event a month. He's doing one that happens to be one event.
But-
You're
But
saying
this is 12
3,000,
requests.
3,000, 3,000, 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I understand what
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying, but it still negates the fact that we have somebody who walked in here just because it's one day, they get it waived, and then we have someone who's doing it 12 months. Wouldn't you want to, the person that's going to be here for 12 months, wouldn't you want to give them zero and make the person who's going to be here one day pay the fee? I mean, honestly, the reverse. So that's all I'm saying.
Go.
All right. Again, a couple things that, you know, I look at when I look at this type of event and what's kind of happening right now, which is great. What we're doing is we've been providing these funds. How long has Cocoa Market been running?
At Old School Square?
Yeah.
It's been since
year.
2021.
Right. So,
It's
so
been
the
1
last
year
year,
at Old
this is
School
how we've been
Square.
operating, and we've been successful, and it's been a great event. I think it's a staple of downtown. But this is kind of like you're just seeing it now and having to make a decision on it, but we've been making a decision on it for over a year. This new process that we put into place is we as a board want to see the things that the DDA is giving out money to. So there are things like this that are going to come up, and I think this is a good event, and it's an example of something that we're doing once a month as a staple event that we're building on, and it is a great community and a wonderful like fabric of like this wellness that we have in the community, something we want to support, and it's not necessarily costing us money other than the fact that we are waiving some of the fees that we've been waiving for the last year. I think there are ways that the DDA will come up to create funds, but I don't think hitting these businesses that are operating on a Sunday, you know, to morning to noon or just afternoon is like going to be how we make our money. It's going to be possibly doing other events like this with other vendors, but, you know, releasing the fees, but getting a piece of the stuff that comes from the shows, you know, because the shows, and there's even the rentals of the field house we do very well with, much greater than this. So again, for this one, if I was going to make a motion to the gym, if I was going to make a motion, my motion would be, am I allowed to make a motion at this point? Or are we still
Can
talking?
you hold on the motion for just a second?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
But there's a number of reasons why I would support this. One, we've been doing it before. It creates something that's there every Sunday, and it's a part of our fabric and community, you know, to have this kind of space and healing and people.
I guess
there
you just got to
Sunday.
think, like, does the economic impact and, like, the people that they're bringing downtown outweigh the fee that we're waiving? In my opinion, I think it does.
They bring in roughly $80,000
Yeah.
a month. We're waiving $28,000
Yeah,
for the
I
year.
agree. I think it does. But I also, one of my point is there's ways to differentiate all these different requests that we'll end up getting. I don't think none of them are going to be the exact same. So I think we can actually handle it on a case by case basis.
But on that, if a reporter was to walk in and ask you, how are you determining who gets what? We need to have some kind of
We're
recourse.
doing it
I'm
right
doing
now.
it
Yeah.
per
We're
each
doing it right
thing.
now.
That's what we have to do, and now we get to see everything that we approve.
Excuse me, in the spirit of the mission statement of the DDA, to enrich the economic climate and environment of downtown Delray, this is a winner. In the mission statement and in the contract agreement with Old School Square, this reads as a statement as to what we should be doing and to why we do it. I heartily agree with Brian. I also agree with what you're saying, and I understand that we should analyze every time why we do it and have just reason for why we do it.
Every
But
group's
in
gonna
this
make a
case,
dollar.
We do,
Mhm.
and both of these were brought up in front of us because they are the unique decision-making needs. And that's what we're doing. And I love the debate. And I think we all have a reason here to do this. But I think that the economic vitality of the city is the goal, and the cultural climate is the goal. And we cover both here. And we're doing absolutely what we should be doing in making it easy for them to deliver excellent events in our Old School Square that we're required to do. So
Every
yeah.
group's going to have an economic impact. Every group that steps up to the podium is going to have an economic impact. All I'm trying to do is let you all know you have to have something concrete that says why you're waiving one versus the other saying no. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not certain it's possible in this climate with this kind of event.
So I'm curious, what is the entity that is responsible or for signing the lease and running the operation? It's a nonprofit?
It's not a nonprofit.
It's a for-profit?
Yes.
How much profit do you make?
Not much. We reinvest back into the event. So I know it's easy to do quick math and say $200, but we...
So would you be able to not operate if we didn't give you?
It's
You'd have
not
to
looking
close
great.
down.
It's not looking great. But
It's that kind of a margin.
It's tight, yeah.
So you get paid nothing and you do this for fun?
I don't get paid nothing, but this is my full-time thing. And
Oh,
if I
okay.
were to make
See, our
absolutely
question is
nothing.
whether or not, we don't mind giving, like they're saying, everybody is for it. But the point is that if you're making a profit, maybe there should be a consideration for a participation in the profit
I
love it.
as a fee.
Yeah. There'd have to
Okay.
be a break point, and again, we can decide all that. I don't know, you guys can decide on how you want to do it. I know that the city is now requesting after the events that they report back stuff, but I don't know if that's something we want to necessarily need or require.
Can I
I
try
don't
this
know
for-
if the board wants to go into business with Coco.
Yeah. I'm more interested in going to business and bringing people.
I do.
It's looking better every day.
I do.
Can I just for sake of this is our first time, and we knew going into this when we had the discussion about the cost and the fees and the waiving of fees that this would come up eventually. Correct? I appreciate the debate and the conversation, and know going forward that in future requests we'll have feedback now to take with future requests to say, hey, do they meet all and check all these boxes? So then when we bring those requests to you all, we can make sure that that's there. We're happy to provide back to you all in those with both of these requests economic impact to that, because there's definitely a huge economic impact. We saw a drop when they moved from Veterans Park to Old School Square on those businesses surrounded by Veterans Park and the activity. So, and we've seen an increase in the ones that are around there. So there's definitely a positive impact. And when you ask, does it cover our costs? It does not, because what on-site is really the day of, that's where the costs are, but pre-cost for administrative, anything else that happens with working with Corey and her team on a monthly basis is not, obviously we're not recouping those costs, but it is an investment back into our organization, which is downtown Delray. So for us, it is, if we would be probably working with Corey as an organization, Downtown Development Authority, if we weren't operating Old School Square, is what I'm trying to say, on all of these events. So we do have expenses and costs when we're promoting them through marketing, working with them and the surrounding businesses as any other event producer comes in here. So I just want to make sure that, and then as we go forward, we do know that we'll have your rubric, we'll have a application if we want to create for waivers, so that we have consistency along the way.
What are like the time periods on these? Is this like a year thing, or it's a perpetuity?
This would be a fiscal year right now.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to mention, and I don't know, you can enlighten us, but I know that I've seen Cocoa Market participate in a number of other events that we've done besides Cocoa Market to make kind of like more interactive type of thing.
Right, we did that.
Does that normally, you guys, how do you operate that? How's that relation? Do they just come in as part of under our thing? And
So we did that with the
I think it's a help. I think
Mural
it adds
Fest.
something. Right.
We
yeah.
did. We worked Corey. We decided, because it was a 2-day event, we wanted to have a night market as part of that event, and enlisted Corey's expertise, because she is very strong in that arena, to help us with that, and we shared the vendor fee for that. So we did a 50-50 split on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
We'd like to
question.
deepen that a little bit. We have a database of 2,500 small businesses that have signed up through the platform, and we would just like to have a conduit for any events that you have to kind of plug in. I need
Fantastic.
2 coconut vendors and a bracelet vendor,
Yeah.
So
Once again,
Thank you.
we have to consider the economic impact of
Pardon me.
to our downtown.
So, Laura, I'm curious, what kind of insurance do we require these vendors to have?
Hefty insurance. So every vendor, every person that is on campus needs a certificate of liability insurance, carrying $2 million in coverage. So every vendor, every DJ, every person that steps on campus has to have us as additionally insured, as well as the city of Delray Beach.
So the person that we contract with, do we check on their viability? Do we check on their financial statement? Do we know whether they're viable?
That's a no.
No, I don't understand. What does that mean?
For vendors?
Whether or not we check to make sure that they actually are a legitimate business in terms of their financial standing, so that it is a business that's coming on board and not some random person. such as myself.
So part of the application process, both from our organization as well as the city, that is part of the request. Has this event happened in prior? Is it a first-time event? If it's not, if it's a first time, then what is that plan? So there's double checks on both sides, from our side as well as the city. Corey does have to submit a special event application to the city as well. So there's definitely a lot of safeguards in place.
One last thing, not trying to beat a dead horse here, but if you've got one person who survives with the opioid epidemic that we had here and all the problems that were going on, just one person survives, to me, it's well worth the fee. I just think that also maybe there's a way to talk to the city about some of the opioid money that they have coming in to see if wellness things, because they're trying to figure out where they're going to put that money to work. One person gets helped. It's huge. That's my reason for voting for this.
And also the business climate economic impact is huge. When you have 75 vendors and all those people coming into downtown, and this is precisely what we're supposed to be doing. The question of whether you waive fees or not is almost a separate issue. We want them here. We want you here every month, and it's a real benefit to us. How we go about covering our costs and how we go about justifying our agreement with the city and our need to cover expenses is what we're all talking about. I don't know that it's a easy yes or no, white or black issue. There's a lot of things to waive, not just your actual costs, but the actual benefit over and above a rental fee. And I find that to be, besides the opiate, reduction. I mean, I've lost employees to opiate death in the last year, and if I thought that this somehow equated to a reduction in that, I would pay the $650 myself. So I understand where Vera asked the question, and I understand that it is difficult to quantify and qualify who gets a break and who doesn't. But in this case, I think it's pretty clear. History, success, overall benefit, it's well worth it in this case. Economic impact, etc. That's how I feel. Is there any other debate?
Where did we get the 650 from? I'm new to that one, so why is it 650? Why is it not 200 or something?
650 came from it really covers the day of expenses. Well, that's what the day of costs are. For in this instance, basically, based on what the time of the event, based on the impact, because there's only one person necessary versus multiple people.
So you're confident that that's a good number? Okay.
Similar to when we have litter pickup. I mean, there's quantification around it.
Okay, I need a motion.
I'm ready to make a motion, I guess. Unless you want to make a motion. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the reduction in the fee for the cocoa market for the 12 times a year for the going fiscal year.
At a rate of $650.
Yes, at a rate of $650.
I'll second.
Okay.
Jim Knight,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
Yes.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Cole Devitt,
Yes.
Aaron Halliburton.
Of course. Can't say no.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I'll see you at Cocoa Market.
So I wanted to add, after the discussion, that you all have the ability not to have these cases brought before you if you don't want to waive the fee. So it's something that you all chose to do at the last meeting. So
I think we're just getting used to the process, really, of seeing the funds that we've paid or made deals on previously. It's just bringing it all to light and having us all have an opportunity to say something.
Okay.
That's just
just keep that in mind. It's not a requirement that you waive fees.
Right.
Did we decide they're gonna get brought to us if they want a certain amount waived over a certain amount?
Yeah,
waived?
Over 50%.
Okay.
So next, sorry.
It's right.
Anything else, sir? Okay. All right. So item 7C, we have the placemaking and activation grant application, which was seen 2 months ago where it's back. We have Cynthia Ridley here to share. You all have been provided an updated application from Cynthia.
Good afternoon to everyone here today. I came 2 months ago, and we actually, as when you looked at what we gave to you about the 12 days of Christmas, we went back and kind of revised the budget so it can fit into applying for the budget today. And most of the budget is pretty much going to the city of Delray Beach, and which is required. You can see in the last 4 years we didn't really have to pay for anything, but this year we're closing down the street because it has brought so many children and families to this event. And plus it would allow us also to add more vendors to give out more things out to our families in the community. So we did have to redo our layout for the city of Delray as well. So most of the money that you're actually giving us not going to family, is going back to organization like the city of Delray Beach, the city of Delray, who has to do all the cleanup and what we have to do. And I think we asked for extra lighting in this because of the time change. We needed some lighting out there as well. So we added that cost in there to put lighting on Fifth Avenue. It's not enough light with the twist around lights that's out there. So I was trying to make sure that the families are safe that will be coming out there on this day from 5 to 8 in the evening time, that they also look forward to each year. And I'm quite sure we're going to double those numbers to this year as we begin our 12 days of Christmas as well. So I'm just here to, if any question that you need to ask. I think we're going to get some more bikes donated, because last year when I came that we needed more bikes, and we raffled them off as a giveaway. We give all the toys away to families in this community. Nothing charged to them, just coming out, listening to music, and actually having a good time. And children receive toys and vegetables and all kind of free things from this community on December the 19th for the pajama party. So if any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Great. So just to be clear, you're asking for $2,600.
Okay, go ahead.
You're asking for $2,600. Is that the request?
Yes, that's my request. Is $2,600. That will include everything, the lighting, the police department, the city of Delray, and I think a few more items that we asked for that need to just be covered as well.
Great.
Does anybody have any questions? I have one question.
Absolutely.
I've spoken to so many people in the city, and I get so many different answers.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship between the set and work.
Mm-hmm.
What is the relationship today between the set and the work?
It's a great relationship. I live in the set. It's a place where we live, and we do activities in the set, and we always try to make, because not a lot of action comes on our side of our community. Very seldom that we see, other than jazz on the avenue, nothing else coming to set community that provide anything for us that we would enjoy doing. So that's why we're trying to be a little bit more creative in our community. We coming up with the Black History Month. It's going to be a whole lot of activities as we partner with the DDA to making sure these events that we're doing in the set is successful. Work is the one we go under.
Yeah. So is SET Coalition, I think your question's on the SET Coalition,
Yes.
and the work, I think, are the same.
We're not a 501c3. Work is. So all the money that we will be receiving will go under their organization, because they have the 501c3 to making sure this event happens. Because I don't have a checking account.
So is the organization then, they're related?
Yes, we're related. Anything you do in the set, if we go through the coalition, because you have to have a 501c3. If you're going to write me a check, I'm glad to take it. But I can't, because we have to be, we're trying to do things that's right on the 501c3 so the money can be tracked. But the set is a community, and the organization is work that we go under in the set with different things, like the Set Alliance.
Yeah.
So all that oversee where the community that we actually live in.
Okay.
Laura, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that information, Cynthia. I I don't know if this was something that I understood, but I thought from the last meeting, the check that we were attempting to provide before they came back, you were going to give it directly to the city, or is it going to this to Wark so that they can then distribute it? I don't know how that was
decided.
Nothing. Oh, I know
No,
we talked.
yeah.
Did we mention that?
There might have been mention of that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know, because when he asked that question, that was something completely off my radar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you mean like a pass-through of the invoice?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, if they want to write the check to the city of Delray, all means that's just less work I have to do and worry about.
I mean, the grants typically are for the organization that's asking for them. So how we can require that we do require that there is I think you all have asked for that in the past, what the final budget is or numbers. That's been asked for the past organizations that we've given the grants for. It's up to you. I mean, you can make requirements if you, as part of your motion, that we can follow, but we have not paid direct invoices.
What the reason why my radar went up is Cynthia has presented this as part of the SET coalition, but the check is being written to Wark. And if she is a member with the 501c3 and she's on the documentation, then the check could go to her. But if we're going to be in a situation where we're not giving that directly to the 501c3, I'm saying make it easy and just give it directly to the city. Regardless, the bill's going to get paid.
Yeah, I just want the bills paid. I just don't want to be stuck.
True.
We have been stuck with a bill in the past through the city of Delray Beach, so I'm just trying to making sure that does not happen. So that the money is there and all their fees can actually be paid. That needs to be done.
Okay.
So that's my only scary part. I don't want to receive a bill later on from the city of Delray Beach. We still good of doing that kind of activity.
Yes, understood.
Yes.
So where should we be writing this check?
So one thing we do need for the 501c3, we just need backup for that. Because we just looked in the application, it's not in there. So City of Delray Beach will invoice the organization directly. Once that's received, I would recommend that we pay the.
Who's going to apply for the application with the city?
They are.
Who is they?
What you mean? What application you're talking about? I'm not.
Special event permit.
It's already in.
Who applied for it?
I applied for it.
And under what name?
Under coalition.
Okay. Right. So it should go to the coalition.
Yeah. Right. We applied for it on the coalition. And they're aware that we did it as
either provided the coalition, or once the coalition provides us the bill, we can write the check to the city if we just want to do it like that too, possibly. Whichever way it works.
Right.
You know?
We have to make that decision, so let's make it.
Pay the whole thing to the coalition.
We'll pay the coalition, Quentin?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just, that once, because we're part of the special event permit, you'll get an approval letter and the fees, they'll get an estimate on the fees, which they can provide that to us just as backup that we can include as part of the application as we write the grant to the coalition.
That's good.
Yeah.
There should never be a question later on as to who and why we did it.
And then my next question is, being that they haven't gotten the bill yet, and if it's over $2,600, can we make a motion to provide a little bit of a cushion in case the bill comes in higher than the $2,600? Because the idea is that we're covering that.
Well, the cost is in here as $4,000 something, so that cushion is now a mattress. Is it?
It's been changed.
Okay. Yeah. It's coming down. It came down from
$2,600.
Our portion is $2,600, but there was another form in here that said there was $4,300 total or something. Am I wrong?
Well, that was the original request.
That was the old request.
So the new request is
now just $2,600.
Yes.
But is that the cost in what Vice Chair Bryan is saying in terms of the overall amount that the city is going to require? We don't know that number. So when he's saying
I did get the number. I got the number from Allie.
Okay.
That's over special events. I went to her, and those where the numbers came from.
Oh, so that $2,600
right,
is the actual
police
number.
department and the city that came from Allie. I got an email, so that's according to her. Now, I'm just going what she said and what's in writing.
Okay.
Now, it might change.
I want to go by the invoice when you get it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
I just want to provide a cushion for you. You know, so you don't have to come back. You know,
the reason why I'm asking is you all know that I helped to form that Black Excellence event, and for the last year, the organization would get a bill after the fact that said these things all here, and some of those things were not used. So
got
I'm
you.
trying to make sure that you are not held on the hook for any of this after we make this decision.
And I'm agreeing because it might.
Yes, I know.
We working with the city of Delray Beach, so I'm just saying. what
So
might
I'd like
happen.
to go ahead and take a shot at making a motion. I think we've had a pretty good discussion, and I'd like to move in support of the $2,600 grant, but put a note in there that we can go up to $3,600 in case the bill comes in for a little bit more, just like it's a max, if that works for everyone.
Before we even go for a second on that, I'd like to debate that. I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't want to make any kind of precedent that leaves an open amount. I think we pick a number, we stick to the number. If you need more, please come back. If we wish to add money to it, we can do that at a later time. But an open-ended number is not comfortable to me.
Yeah, well, I tried to make a max on it. It would be based on the city bill, but
kind of
I'm
agree.
fine
I
with
mean,
whatever you want.
They requested a number, so let's give them what they
Okay.
requested.
I
If they
agree.
need more money, then come
Okay,
back.
we'll do.
Motion to approve the $2,600 request from the coalition to support the 12 Days of Christmas event held in Delray Beach.
Second.
Okay.
Arnold Burton,
Yes.
Cole Davids,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
Yes.
Harold Van Arn,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
Yes.
Jim Knight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay.
Are we ready for?
Yes, so that takes us now to 7D, which is the amendment number 3 for with the city and the DDA over the management and operations of Old School Square campus.
Is everybody familiar with this? Because, Laura, so just so
yes,
I,
yeah,
if
this
I
should-
can begin.
Mhm.
The we originally proposed 1.56, was it, million
Mhm.
as a budget?
Correct.
Okay, and the city arbitrarily came back with a number of $800,000 that they'd like to fund the Old School Square. So they created an amendment, this amendment, and I thought the amendment had more in it than it needed and less than it should. So actually, all the amendment needs to say is they've approved $800,000 at 4 payments of $200,000, and that would be fine with me if that was what we had asked for. However, we proposed a budget. Are we finding the budget on the screen?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so
That is
that
what we
budget's going to
proposed.
appear. And 1.57, and that 1.57 was best efforts of our team to come up with the costs that were real and not potential, but also expected. And operating the Old School Square is quite a chore for a team that doesn't really get paid for it, let alone works enormous hours for it, has delivered an exceptional product to the point where we received an international award just this week that our team picked up, and for which we're incredibly proud, and for which you should be proud. And I think the city just assumes that they can pick a number. This is my personal opinion now, that they can pick a number and we just have to live with it. But unfortunately, we would also have to live with reduced processes in every level, including the fact that we didn't even include salaries in the 1.757 million. So if there's going to be an third amendment for this, I would like that third amendment to have a detailed proposal listed, and the fact that they did not accept our detailed proposal, and also a clear understanding in the recitals that we will reduce, according to their offer of compensation, all the services and level of service that we can provide based on the need to operate the system, operate effectively. So that is now open to debate.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello again. As the business background of my mind, if I was sitting on the city, I'd say, well, wait a minute. You all knew that there were cuts involved. You had this packet prior to, and you just let money walk out the door. So, how are you going to come at us when you had the opportunity to have these folks pay into your coffers to offset the reduction? Just throwing that out there, because we have to be realistic that we can't complain that they're cutting the money when we're allowing money to walk out the door that was in our hands for the services and the rental fees that were there. We just allowed it to walk out the door. So if we're looking, that was $31,000 that we let walk out the door today in rental fees. So again, I'm just saying, if I'm sitting on the dais and I'm one of the city officials, I'm questioning that and saying this is not good business decision making then from business people, because you had the opportunity, the money was there, and you let it walk out the door, and now you're coming to us asking us to fill that hole. That's just where I am.
So the fact that they reduced it weeks ago, and we just reduced our 2 rentals today, they should have known in advance that we reduced our rentals?
No. Knowing that they reduced it
Yes.
2 weeks ago, when we had the opportunity, these folks were standing before us, and we didn't say, you got to pay now, so that we can offset some of that hole that we're in from this cut. So I'm just putting it out there to let everyone know this is what it looks like. And so we need to make sure that when we step forward to say, hey, you cut us, that they can come back and say, no, you cut yourselves. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand. And again, just, we're going to do the best programming we can. This is great programming we've had for the last year. We want to keep this programming on the last 2 things we looked at. The agreement does have in the ILA the profit share opportunity, but 90% of the ILA is about activating the campus and branding the campus and working to do things at the campus. So again, these are the things that we're going to do to create activity at the campus. You can't make money on everything. Both the events we just looked at are free events. It's the events where there's a concert and there's a door fee, or again, there's a lot of other opportunities to generate the income that I think, are more than $30,000. Yeah, but that's, most of it's over the year, and an event that happens 12 times a year. So it's like, it's part of what we have to do. It's not just like these big cuts. And again, that's just my opinion, but you're right. It's tough when you hear from the dais sometimes, oh, we support you and we want to do whatever you need to do to make it happen. And then we come to a budget and, we get half of what we were looking for. So it's not like we can, we can only provide half of, and we've kind of made that clear, but we're doing it on, we're going to provide half of what we were providing before. And again, we're going to change to a lot of our free events are going to have to be charged events. We held a number of free concerts. It's something we like to do. It's not something we will necessarily have the opportunity to do moving forward, because we have to generate these funds to try to meet any gaps. So it's where we are. But again, it doesn't mean we have to stop doing anything we're doing, that's already building up steam. I thought Coco's been going on, again, it has been going on for more than a year, but even Old School Square, it feels like it's been going on for 2-3 years, just because the whole vibe and scene and, activation that happens. It's great.
How much money did the city provide last year?
$1 million, plus we had a little overrun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they provided $1 million, and we had about $200,000-300,000 left from before.
Mm-hmm.
So we had about a budget we were working with of $1.3 million and change. And now, we went back for the $1.5 million, and they gave us $800,000. Is that kind of how it fit?
Mm-hmm.
So
well, each time we presented more, and
we've come back to the city already and had meetings with the manager on trying to get some more funds and trying to understand what we can do. But again, the city is.
And one place we left it is if there's something that's an opportunity to bring back to the city, to city manager, to like, hey, we've got this opportunity. It's here. It's going to cost this much amount of money for us to produce. Is there opportunity for us to partner with the city on this in a way, or get additional funding for this event? That was the conversation.
How long would that process take?
that was a discussion.
I just understand it's just going to be tough.
I know it's hard, especially when you're looking on booking something it needs an answer right now.
Yeah,
and
because we're booking 6 months to 8 months ahead, and then you need to ask another 3 to 4 ahead of that.
Right, the offers don't last long. We had an offer, and it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. You have to make a commitment at that moment for something that's significant. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you reevaluated the budget and reprinted an $800,000 budget
Yes,
that provides
we
our
have.
services?
Yeah, we
That's
have.
what we're approving.
And we've cut majority of the things that we've cut have been really the events and activation section, because that is something that as revenues do come in, then, or revenues when I say if ticket fees or beverage fees, things that are budget costs that come into we look at where we can apply this. So we've got a forecast budget, but they are, as Brian said, we're eliminating our free concerts.
I guess what I'm going to ask is that, Quentin, if we can we include recitals that detail the original request that we made with an attachment schedule and then a reduction schedule that shows the differences that we're going to make in the $800,000 budget, and we include them and then send that back to the city so they can see the level of service that they will attain with 800,000 instead of 1.5?
Short answer is yes. If the board approves a motion to that effect, a much more longer answer is the budget that you're going to approve next is going to show what the result of the $800,000 is. So I don't think you need to include a schedule. That's just me, but the board may want to do that because they have what the agency is forecasting as what they can do with the amount of money that it's receiving in the budget.
I just want it documented in the third.
In the whereas clause. I understand that.
I
You
want
said
it
something
clearly-
about a schedule, but I just want to...
Well, the city, I want the city to understand what they're doing when they just make a blanket change and how it results and gets delivered by the organization that has to actually do it.
Yeah.
And we entered into this ILA with open eyes from both sides. We all knew what was there before, roughly, and we all knew what we wanted to achieve. And the goal of the DDA is not to make a profit on this operation, but to achieve excellence. And in the ILA, I was going to read it in all its glory a little while ago. I've changed my mind. Thank you, Vera. And but nevertheless, several times in there, it clearly states that the Old School Square is the cultural center of the cultural heart of the downtown, and that it's our mission statement to provide the excellence of service for the creation of the increased business environment. And just talking numbers sort of belies the reality that we're going to reduce services and level of service. And I want it in the amendment, and I hope everyone will agree, that's my request, that it be in the amendment what we proposed and why, what they proposed and the actual results of that proposal before we all go and sign this thing and it just becomes some piece of paper. I want the city to recognize that they are reducing the level of service on an agreement that we made 2 years ago where there was a darkened campus, no cultural anything, and the city was in need, and we stepped up to provide. And I think everyone's forgotten about that, and they've forgotten what the actual goal is here, and it's the utter success on an international level that we've delivered, that it's what was requested in the beginning. So that is what I'm proposing to the board. Go ahead, Brian.
My one question. When it comes down to the fees, as part of this agreement, we're getting $200,000 no later than October 15th, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't move forward with this agreement, does that mean that the funds possibly won't come?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Are you asking not to?
That's because that's
Go
kind of what
forward.
I'm saying is like if he's saying don't do the agreement because we want to include this thing, then I want to be clear that we have $200,000 of budget that's
Yeah.
supposed to be rolling
I don't
in.
think Al's asking not to go forward with the agreement. I think he's asking.
No, I'm not. I'm asking to move forward with it.
Right,
but
you're
I'm
asking just to having what I understand, if I can be.
Yeah, you've
I mean,
heard
this
me
is what I've
clearly.
heard, understand.
You've certainly heard me clearly.
He wants to add a whereas clause in the recitals part that says what our original request was.
multiple recitals that state what we
multiple.
what we
I only heard like one. Okay.
what we requested, what we proposed, what they proposed, what we're forced to live with, and what the results will be in schedules, so that when they sign, when
Right.
they recognize that they've done what they've done, we will clearly have stated, please be aware that this is the result. We will provide the best we can and do to our utmost to deliver on what we've delivered so far, but certainly they're limiting the results, not us.
Well, that's based on our original ILA. So if we have then the additional, like what we're supposed to deliver, which that is our mission to deliver
Yep.
that, right? And that's our goal always. But I think what I originally understood was that you wanted to make sure that what our original request was, and then what we're actually, the actual is, right?
Yeah, and therefore
Okay.
the result of what reduction in services will be forced to deliver based on what they're providing.
Do we know what that is yet? Have we? I mean,
That
I
was
know
my
we've
yes.
made cuts, but I don't know if we have like said, well, there's 18 shows we're taking out. You know, do we know what that number is or anything at this point, roughly based on our budget?
Well, all of our regular events have been, we're going back to 12, so we'll do 12, one a month.
Yep. First, how many were we doing?
We did last year, we did 12 this
Plus the
fiscal
summer
year, and then
did-
some, we made an adjustment this summer, we were doing 2 a month. But we were gonna add in a free event, so we are adjusting free events. And then the exhibitions in the museum are also taking adjustments as
And
well.
then how many free events are we not providing?
Right now, we're not providing 12.
All right.
So, can I ask a question? The free concerts that were taking place,
Correct.
you're saying that they're going to be cut completely, or are they going to be ticketed events now? There won't be a reduction in the event number, but there will be an adjustment to the cost on the consumer or the participant.
I think there's both.
Is it
We're
right?
cutting the
Is-
events in half, and we're charging for the half that we're now having.
Correct.
So it's
Okay.
actually both.
So can we outline, just when I was in sales and marketing at Nordstrom, we always had to put forth a outline, what we projected for the next year and how much it was going to cost. Do we have the full fiscal year and the events outlined so we can say, this is what we were going to do, but now with the reduction, this is what it's going to be now? So that they can visually see, 80% of people are visual learners. So that they can physically see it to say, oh, we're cutting this and this and this and this and this, and then they see what they are left with, which is our commitment, based on that number that they provided.
We have that. That was presented in a business plan, so we do have that.
Very good.
The 24-25 budget, you have 130,000 for ops and facilities. Is that? Can you just briefly explain like what that
Yeah,
goes
I can
towards?
when we go into the budget.
Okay.
Do you want to go through
Well,
that
my
now?
my
I mean,
point
I
was
just-
is the CRA has, I've beaten this dead horse, but the CRA's got that $500,000. If we can shift some of this, if it's like maintenance of the buildings and
No,
stuff.
all of those up. So for us, the maintenance is in the inside, or anything that happens on the inside. So or both the gym, inside the museum, any new exhibitions. So it's also the ops and administration is our legal fees. So there's fees all associated with different things. It's not actual upkeep of the campus. We do pressure spraying, some other things internally. So those are. Going forward, we had a huge placemaking opportunity to enhance summer. We've had to be selective on what we're doing there, just based on cost. So, but adding more additional lighting, some better signage, some placemaking opportunities such as games, outdoor, different things that could be out there were on the table originally. Those have taken, when you look at what we had up there, it's taken a hit a little bit. But the big hit is on the constant events. Okay. Summertime is our big time to have activations there because summer is slow. So the goal was to bring bigger impact events, such as bigger, more ticketed, high-end events, such as name acts, regional acts, national acts, to the campus. Those cost above, anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 just for one event. Hope is to gain some dollars back on that, but those are huge impact, and that was our goal this year going into that with this number. Now with the reduction, it is definitely you have to weigh the balance. Is it to do more throughout the year, or a few bigger things, right? So that's where we are at this point. So the goal is to keep the place active. When we're seeing 2,000 people for a Journey tribute concert that come in prior and eat in downtown and then come to the event and then go out after, that's 2,000 people on an event night that would not have been there, right? The next week they weren't there. Well, they were because it was Jimmy Buffett. But those are, that's just, for us to look at what our, mission is to keep it, it's the 365-day-a-year place. It should be. And, the museum is doing tremendous. To have 450 people on a September opening in September is phenomenal. But to bring that talent and to have the people there takes resources, and to make sure that Maruska's team is able to make those exhibitions happen costs dollars. So I think we're gaining a lot of momentum in this space, and I appreciate the intent, Al. I said, but we're here as a service, and this is a very important place in our downtown. So our goal is to keep it active. We appreciate the 800. We hope that we would have partners in this that would come in and help sponsor these big events, and that's our goal. But again, we're starting behind the 8 ball, right? The other part of this is that we're paying in upwards of $50,000, $60,000 in city services overall. So we pay for fire, police, parks maintenance fees for any event that we do. So any activation that we're doing there, could cost anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000, $10,000 depending on the event itself and the time. So those are things that, and it's 50%. We do have 50%, but those are fees that now we're taking from this number to go back into the city. So
You're asking for that. They haven't offered that.
No, that's what we're doing now. So I'm just saying that city services is something that we are paying through these
Right,
fees
but
as well.
you're asking them to alleviate some of that as well.
I haven't asked that at all.
Have you sat down? I apologize. This is new to me. I'm just starting. Have you sat down with the city and explained to them what 800,000 does compared to 1.6?
We did. We did.
So they're
and
clear.
that's what they said. Okay, we're starting here, and if there is a need for more, then come back. But that was way before the budget expenses, and the budget's changed
Yeah, they've
tremendously.
cut their budget.
Yeah, so I don't. Again, our goal is, and we have an excess, and I do put an excess in there of program fees that we will program revenues that we can bring in to help offset expenses. Or do more things, such as our
An excess of program fees?
Such as our vendor fees. We have vendor fees. We have concession fees, concession revenues that we get in. So those this year we'll have close to 150,000.
Weren't they considered when you proposed the
They were.
1.6? Okay.
Right.
My point is that if we have to accept this, and this is the level of service that we'll provide, I'm fine with that. If everyone agrees and the team wishes to move forward and not exercise our 6-month option to walk away, if assuming we are all on board to continue operating, I want to make certain that in clear language, the city recognizes what indeed they proposed, what indeed we proposed, and what indeed the result will be in the amendment. That's all I'm saying. And then if we continue and move forward, and later on, if we do present to them increased proposals and they choose to take a look at them, that's great. But if they don't, they should know entering, as we should know, what this Third Amendment actually means in terms of our funding, our level of service, our achievement moving forward. That's what I'm proposing. That's all. It's a mild change. It doesn't change the numbers they've offered. It only justifies our original request and what the actual budget will entail based on the funds that they've provided.
And again, I think there's opportunities now. I guess the silver lining is there are opportunities because we have more days available to rent out, part of the campus for different events, or to partner with organizations that want to throw the events at their expense, and we'll pull fees from. So that kind of maybe there's a way to let everyone know that Old School Square is open for business in that regard, to try to get up the event fees and opportunities.
Right,
people
and those
can
are
do
things too, to that vintage gym. So the vintage gym is a bit definitely great. It needs, it's a great space. So it needs marketing to into that, getting into that realm as well. So, yeah, there's definitely opportunities, and I think we've always been very good at working very in a nimble way. We're experts at that. I just, again, we want to make sure that we're not continuing to cut that ends up impacting the team either. So we need to make sure we've all been working pretty hard on this to build it and build the momentum. So that was also looking at, building the team. So we'll continue to do that because
These are all the reasons why I feel the way I do.
Sure.
I would hope the board feels this way. I was part of the team that originally put together the relationship. Vera, God bless her, prior to her even being on the board, it was Vera's idea that the campus should not stay dark, and that after the city proposed an RFQ and opened up for anyone to come and be partners with them, nobody came. Nobody wanted to be part of the city relationship with Old School Square because the previous tenants had destroyed physically a lot of the campus. The campus had been blank and dark for a while. The city's proposals were a little confusing as to the relationships, and nobody stepped up. And Vera's concept of the DDA already having an infrastructure in place, a team that could move quickly, and a concept for Old School Square got the attention of the team, and the DDA board voted to do this, and the city voted to do it. And we all entered into an agreement in good faith to develop and build the cultural center, or rebuild it, back into the city. The DDA has done that in an excellent way, and again, international acclaim this week. And I think it's possible that the team, first of all, the team here is different, and the team at the city is different that entered into the agreements. But ultimately, we're going to be judged. No matter how much and how great your intent is, Laura, and how well the team performs, you can only do so much with what you have and the resources you have. I just want to make certain that it's documented in our amendment what we wanted to achieve, what we've achieved, and what we've gotten, and we're going to make do with, and that it should be documented clearly as to the why. So next year when someone says, where's your international award, and why wasn't there another Jimmy Buffett concert, we'll have the answer that it was not something we did arbitrarily. Am I clear enough with that?
I am 100% clear with what you're saying, Al. My question, as I've asked in the past, is the team amenable to this? Are they interested in continuing to move forward under this new dollar amount?
Well, I just brought that up. Again, there's a 6-month clause, which I'm thoroughly
that's what I was asking
not
for.
happy with to even consider. However, I'm so upset that, guys, I just came here, and I've been away for 2 years, and in those 2 years, this team delivered amazing results, and almost no salaries are provided. These girls, I'm sorry, that was sexist. Our team works diligently and aggressively and has delivered the most business-like response to what was a municipal request, which is not always responded to in a business-like response. They delivered the business of the Art Museum. Marushka and her team are amazing. Laura and her team with marketing and delivery, it's spectacular. The International Downtown doesn't just give away those awards. This is an achievement that goes far beyond just a simple conversation, and it goes far beyond a few words in an amendment. We have an agreement to do great work, and we did great work. I wish I could say I did it. I didn't. You did it. The team did it. And Vera's request, which is something I didn't want to say out loud, is realistic. If you want to not do it, there are members. I've heard conversation here where some people on the board don't even consider the need for the DDA to do this at all. They don't think that the Old School Square perhaps is part of our mission. I happen to believe strongly that it is. I fought for it. It's clearly in our mission statement. It's clearly in the charter. It's clearly in our ILA. But when this is a fact that the city has looked down upon our success and our delivery, because they choose not to work with us at the level that we want to work at. That's my opinion as one member of the board. Unless the board doesn't agree, they're welcome to bring it up.
My only comment is, if the team does want to continue on, is to get the message across that we're going to do the best possible job we can with what we have, period. They knew when we asked for $1.5 million, and they cut it from, the $1 million it was last year. They knew there was going to be some ramifications from that. It's not like everybody's going to come out and say, "Oh, take a 20% pay cut, and that's going to be great," and so forth. So I think that we just need to send the message that we're going to do the best darn job we can with what we have, and we can always come back and visit. Hopefully we can get some additional money-generating opportunities and so forth there, and we're going to do the best we can, assuming the team wants to continue forward.
Yeah. If I might, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So you all have discussed this, I think, pretty thoroughly and got the issues out that you wanted to address. The question that we have to answer today is whether or not you want to approve this amendment, and if you do want to approve it, do you want to approve it as is, or do you want to include some additional whereas clauses as stated by the chair? And as stated by the vice chair, if that is the case, that will have to go back to the city for their review and consideration, which, if we do not include that, this matter would be done after approval today.
Quentin?
Yes, sir.
If we make a motion to add language that identifies our proposal, their proposal, what reduction in services we believe will happen, if we do that, and we send it back to them, and they love our proposal, and they want to sign it next week, do we have to wait a month to review it, or can we?
No, we would approve it subject to those inclusions, but
okay.
They have to then review it and decide whether or not they want to approve it.
And once again, I'll just say, I don't think what we're asking for is unreasonable. We're just documenting the reason for the Third Amendment. That's all.
Quentin, do you have any suggestions or comments on this?
How about a letter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can we streamline this with just a letter with the approval of the agreement instead of making it a whereas statement as part of the agreement that needs to be reviewed by the legal team? Because I'd suggest that, and we can just
Add
basically
an exhibit, you mean?
No,
not even an exhibit. This is just a cover letter that goes with the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just because we can approve the amendment. Again, carry the message. Hey, this isn't quite what we were looking for, but we're going to do our best to make it work and find other ways to, find funds to do the programming we want to do. And, basically we had planned 24 shows, and now we're removed 12 of the free ones.
Okay,
and
so
as well as some other things, but put it in a cover letter.
Vera, the negotiator, thinks a little differently. I understand that that's easy, clean, and neat to send them a letter and say we're accepting the number. There's a big gap between 1.57 and 800,000. I say we go back with a number that's in between the two and ask for more money.
I think we did that already.
Because did you do? I don't think you did that already.
Well, we met, and that's
But that was a hard number that they gave. So that there's no wiggle room on that number whatsoever. None.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay.
So my suggestion is, because I probably should have led with this before, is that we have on October 28th, is that correct? There's a workshop with the City Commission and the DDA with the topic of the rebranding for Old School Square campus. So that is on the 28th of October. But it is primarily around the rebranding conversation. So I just put that out there yes, sorry.
Time out. So the rebranding discussion on the 28th, where we've already spent $40-some thousand for the rebranding. If they decide that they want to take that over, we still have a bill, or would they then take over that $40,000, which would then increase our $800,000 number?
Nice.
They paid for the 40. The 40,
that was part of our. That was part of our
They paid
plan
for it
going
already.
forward.
We paid
We've already
with
been
their
down.
money,
Yeah. We've already been.
But it's out of that budget number, is what
Right.
I'm saying. It wasn't
Yeah.
on their side of the ledger.
No, we
No,
paid
no.
for it.
It was from the
That's
last
what's
It
fiscal
came
year.
out of the Yes, part of our budget proposed last year.
So
yes.
I'm asking because when we go into this meeting, it's already paid for.
Correct.
Correct, out of our budget.
The implementation's not.
For
It's
the,
next,
yes,
yeah.
the action is not. But the $40,000 is already out of the budget. When the 800,000 comes, that part would already be taken care of.
We don't
It's not
have
out
it
of
in
the
there.
future.
It's not even part of that 800.
It's already paid from last
It's
year.
part of
Yes, from
marketing,
from this part.
implementation of our.
Very well. That's what I
marketing and
wanted to see
advertising.
where that,
Can I
if that
bring
was a
you
bigger
all back,
hole.
back to the
Sorry.
issue?
Yeah, can I?
It's okay.
Yeah, I'd like to go
So
ahead and try to
it-
make a motion.
Wait, I want to hear if Quentin
Alright,
has
yeah,
any
yeah,
suggestions
yeah,
or
yeah,
comments
yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I think both. I think both work. Obviously, if it's in the agreement, it's stronger than a side letter that's not a part of the agreement. But that's why you are here to make those decisions. I don't see an issue with either one of them. One would take more time for final approval. The city may approve the additional language. I can't forecast that.
I mean, is it just, whereas the DDA requested
Oh, you mean the language
1.5,
specifically? Yeah,
7 million, whereas the city denied the request and provided 800,000.
All we're stating is what we proposed
I understand.
and what they proposed. We're not trying to change the world. We're just documenting, and we're not just glossing over the fact that we made a proposal and the city turned it down. We're just including it in the amendment, just as they did with the branding language. With the city includes lots of language in their amendment that is not really necessary based on the funding. I'm just saying we should at least document the funding, what we requested and what they agreed to.
That's fine. My concern is I think we need to think about, we already know what the process was to get the budget reduced. And my feelings are that our chances of getting an increase are almost zero. And I think that the fact that we would try and create, I mean, what's the point? I mean, it's fine that you can put everything you want to put in writing, but at the end of the day, we're only going to annoy people.
I've got an easy answer for you. The reason there's a branding discussion is because the group that is running the city
But I'm not
now-
talking about branding.
No, I'm trying to explain to you the reason why I'm doing this.
Okay.
In our contract, it clearly states that we're responsible for branding.
Right.
But the mayor doesn't think that he likes that, so he wants to
Right.
change it.
Right.
When it's not in your document, it's not in your document, period.
Right.
You put it in the document.
So
and
you want to
someone
get into
says-
an argument with him?
No, I don't want any argument at all. I want to document what changes they made
that's fine.
based on what we proposed. So when
Why not?
next year comes and there's a new mayor
not?
and there's a new team and they say, why are you doing this? That's why we have a contract.
It will. To be fair to everyone, it will be documented in the minutes from the discussion today. It just won't be an agreement if you choose not to do that. So it like I said, with the letter, that's a viable option. Inserting it into the agreement, I have no particular objection against that or reason why you couldn't do that. It's just a matter of what the board wants to do.
Well, I don't see any chance in them raising the funds for us. I'm not asking for that. I'm just documenting what our team, who just won an international award, says is needed for next year, and what they've offered, and what we're going to have to settle for. And if it's in the agreement, then that's what we agreed to. That's all.
So I would like to move that we update the language request by the chairman to include the information regarding the reduction, so that we can move forward, obviously, and for Laura to be given the authority, as well as Quentin, to meet with the city on that new ILA.
I'd like to second for discussion if I can. Second for discussion only. Are we going to get it back in 30 days with the city? I mean, I know if you're applying for a special event or whatever else, it could take 90 days, 60 days. Are we going to get everything back from them, Quintus, you think, in that timely position? Or are you going to sit on it and then say, well, change your mind or something? Who knows?
I can only control when we provide it to them, and we can do that by tomorrow morning if the board votes to amend it with that language.
And historically, how have they been responsive from it?
Yeah, it's been this isn't a major change, but obviously I can't speak for the city on any event with relation to this agreement.
Yeah, just to be clear on what we're voting on, again, I am for doing this in a letter. I'm not for trying to change the amendment and put a bunch of language into the amendment necessarily. It's a stronger way to go, but it also slows things down, and there's funding coming up in October as part of this thing. I just want to, we got it in front of us. We all said we don't think they're going to give us more money, so why slow down the legal process? Other than, again, it's on the minutes, and we can send a letter just saying, hey, these are basically, what I want to say is, based on the new number that we're going to move forward with, we're going to do the best job we can, and these are some of the things that we will be, not able to do, which are,
I'm
12
for a letter.
shows
I'm
a
for a
year,
letter.
so 24.
100%.
So
Letter.
that's the motion I've been looking to try to make, but if it's adding the language, I'm not sure what Vera's motion was to the, whereas that I'm less interested in. I didn't understand.
There is a motion in a second, so we have to have them vote unless that.
What was the clarification, though? What was her, was it on the where, because she didn't say it
Yeah,
was the
she said
whereas.
whereas clauses. According to the chairman's comments, basically the whereas clause would read something to the effect of whereas the DDA board requested $1.57 million for the fiscal year 24-25 budget, whereas the city has decided to provide $800,000 for the fiscal year 24-25 budget. Therefore, the DDA board wants to reflect that the level of service created by the funding shortfall will be lessened, something to that effect.
With the schedule. With the schedule.
I don't know what schedule are you talking about.
The one that shows what we'll do with 800,000.
That's the budget. That's our budget. So that's what the motion is on the table.
All right. So that's.
Do we think that's just like agitating? I mean.
Yes.
Well, from my perspective, I mean, I appreciate the level, that level of service. I mean, we're not going to change our level of service. It's just the activities and the programming is going to.
That's the level of service.
Going to change, right? So I think, but.
I mean, isn't that? I mean, Quinn, that's
quality
how
of
this,
service. The quality of service won't change. The level of service will. So
isn't that typically how recitals go? I mean, you kind of work your way to the final.
Yes, and
So
they're not in there. We didn't write it; they did. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, look at the
If we
parties
didn't
agree
re-
that this is in the best interest of the city of Delray Beach.
Yeah, well, that's how they wrote it. That's. Anyway, I guess we need to vote. So let's see if we're going to do a letter or in the recitals. This is a vote for the recitals to be altered.
Right. And the vote is a motion to approve with the inclusion, so that it wouldn't. If the city approved it, it wouldn't need to come back.
Jim Knight?
I don't understand. Hold on. I don't understand what we're voting on.
She made a motion to amend the agreement that's proposed.
Amend it? You mean actually amend the agreement that they've given us?
Correct.
That's what we're voting on?
Correct.
Okay.
To
Got it.
include those additional whereas clauses.
Okay.
Not the body
versus a letter.
Which isn't on the table at the moment.
Gotcha.
Jim Knight?
Yes.
Vera Woodson?
Yes.
Yes.
Ralph Bernardin? Brian Rosen?
No.
Alan Costello?
Yes.
Cole Devitt?
Yes.
Arne Halliburton?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay, where are we?
Oh, wait a second.
You just had them
Good
change the amendment.
discussion.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
You're able to bring it back, I think, because you voted yes.
I misunderstood. I'm very sorry. Yeah, I'd like to change my vote to no.
Okay.
If it matters, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter.
It matters for the record.
Okay. Just waking up.
So you're voting not to approve the inclusion of the whereas clause.
That's correct.
In the agreement.
How was the vote then? Are we redoing the vote or just?
Sorry.
It's still 5-2? Okay. To reassure the voting members that voted no, it's not going to be done with inflammatory language in any way. It's just going to document the relationship.
It's
right, Quentin?
Yeah, but it's also making an agreement for the funding for the future more drawn out.
Exactly.
You know, that doesn't have to
I'm
be.
okay
I
with
guess.
that, actually.
Okay. Well, that's
I think that
We have
funding-
nothing to gain and everything to lose. There's
Yeah.
just nothing to gain.
That's all right.
That's a matter of opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Then we're,
do
we're,
we need to, should we share the language with the board before we send it to them?
We'll send out the email with the addition before we send it to the city. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, Quentin.
Okay,
Laura,
okay.
are we okay with that? Okay. Are
Mr.
we
Chair,
going-
one last thing. I guess the only last thing I wanted to comment is we mentioned that it was $1.5 million we had asked. Last year's, do we also put in there that it was $1 million last year? Because didn't they cut it from the million to the 800?
That was already reflected in the item.
Okay.
So
And there,
that's already included.
Okay. Do we now go to old business?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought the budget was something.
No, now it's out. Now it's old because we did it already.
All right.
It was new last month. Now it's old. Just so everyone is aware, we presented for our first reading for our fiscal year. We have a first reading on September. Day was that?
August, yeah.
No.
A week?
Yeah. No.
A week ago was the 9th. Well, thank you all, by the way,
September 5th.
for waiting a week while I was sick. Thank you all.
No, what we presented to the City Commission September 5th, I think it was.
The week before.
September 3rd. September 3rd. Sorry, I'm off on my days. It's only the 16th. So that was first reading. So that was, Jim was there, Al was there, and we had presented that and had, acceptance through the City Commission. Tonight is second reading for the public at our public hearing for our millage, which is the 1 mil, which funds us for our operation of our budget for this year. So we presented this last month to you all, but I'll go through it again. I'm just going to buzz right through. So this is our budget forecast for the DDA budget. This does not include anything with Old School Square, okay? So this is our Downtown Development Authority budget with our ad valorem tax revenue and interest totaling that $1,837,000. We don't, as we go forward, we don't forecast for any sponsorship until we actually realize that. But any sponsorships that we are gaining or anywhere will primarily wrap around our events and marketing, so we roll those into our event, offset our expenses there. So we've got our expenditures, and we break these down into these buckets of marketing the district, economic vitality, placemaking, our grants. We've added the camera program in here based on this year's, and I've added in there. I know that this is an opportunity for you all to say, and as of last time, if that if there's a majority that is like a no, we don't want to move forward with that, it seemed like there was a consensus to move forward. But that was accounted for in the forecast budget. And then operationally, this is operations, and I'll go in detail of all these. Starting with our marketing over downtown, this is a big bucket for us because it's a big lift that we do. We have a very strong and robust marketing team, and as you know, this has really been primarily our big focus for the past 30 years. And these are broken down into these areas, which is creative design, print, digital, public relations, and we moved, as you can see, we moved Visitor Information Center into, that is new for this year, inside into the marketing of downtown, and that encompasses any operational expenses for that, for the Visitor Information Center. Website development, we are embarking on a new website for this year, so that expense is in there. Just some examples of what our marketing is. So that's what you see there. We've got just some highlights. You all know this probably better than anybody. Some examples. We've done a lot. You know, our marketing is really marketing the entire district as a destination. Downtown is a destination, and we are 96% small businesses. Majority of our retailers have very little to no marketing, and we bring that, which makes our downtown special, and showcases really why people want to be here and visit here. So bringing all of those, we brought a lot into house this year, the past 2 years really, with our social and digital and video development now. So just some examples is our Love Delray is our summer ads, and summer is our big focus for that as well. Public relations, this is, we're in the paper, multiple forms of media organically more than ever these past 2 years. And really just, I mean, while we say Old School Square is not, really something we should be focusing on, but the combined is really lifting the ship much higher for all ships. So it's been amazing to see. So breaking down the economic vitality section, and here we've got this broken down into our downtown events. So in the past, we had all of our events like Art and Jazz, Savor the Avenue, our Art Walk, Mother's Day giveaway, our the summer program all fall into our marketing. That number at $185,000, which is actually higher this now as we do actuals, covers all hard costs, which are tents, bands, production, entertainment, anything. So that's the numbers for our over 20 plus events that we're doing throughout the year. This year we're adding in Libby Plaza. So we are going to take funding from this section to actually do activations such as either within our Black History Month, do a pop-up activation for that. Any type of maybe daytime smaller activities, whether it's a pop-up entertainer or public art, but adding so those things we will be planning now as we go forward. But that is something that we want to do intentionally, is add activations in the set neighborhood. Business development and retention. This is our area where within that the economic development is really around our data and inventory management. So with Placer AI and our Ginkgo program, that is where we're capturing data. We have just scratched the surface within Placer. That is a subscription-based platform, so it is expensive, but it is very robust, and being able to provide that data to our businesses or all through capturing that through all of our events. When we have an event, what that impact is. Really for the downtown to plan for, we have 7 based on districts. Right now we're seeing close to 7 to 10 million people annually just from Swinton to the bridge, and that's significant. And that number is cell phone data and tracks where they come from, where they go after, what their habits are. It's very, very robust, but that helps our police department or our public services knowing that actual number. And our hotels and planning and our businesses to plan if they have a forecast. So it's been really instrumental for downtowns across the country. We just actually met with Placer this last week at the conference. So they're coming out with some pretty cool stuff going forward. So it's great.
What about the 7,500?
So the business recruitment and marketing of the downtown, that's through programs and town halls. Business, so if we're doing planning meetings, marketing collateral, promoting. So economic development programming is really going to take a big shift as we start really focusing on sharing the message of the downtown so we can really have the right businesses there, focusing with and working with our commercial realtors to make sure that we're getting the right businesses. So really creating those pieces to share with that. Collaboration, community advocacy, those don't have numbers really wrapped around them. So that's human resources. No, that's more of our.
No, there's a number missing there, right? So
there.
Add that up, it doesn't add up to 226.
Yeah.
Barbecue spot, West Palm. It's really good.
Oops, where's my
It's good.
stuff? Sorry.
I think they're putting it
Unless I'm missing something, right?
red and white.
Yeah, no, you're not missing anything.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You're the treasurer.
Jimmy.
You're on
That's
it.
what I'm making sure that there's something missing
So
there.
you all have this detail in your back up
Yep.
too. So I did a high level there. So research and development, that is something that also is in there as well. So creating development plans, so working with that includes any type of our strategic planning, programming that we're going to be embarking on as well. So that is the number in there. So this is just an example of our placer numbers, so you can have that. Placemaking. So placemaking is where it's all about the place, right? It's where we are about, you know, I think this is Aaron's favorite section of placemaking, which is really about the place, the cleanliness, the beautification. So really working seamlessly with our city. Our city clean and safe team did just put these planters in. They put 10 in as almost a trial, and really from us really pushing for them to add more beautification in the downtown, partnering with them. So we've put some numbers in there to potentially enhance or augment that opportunity. We just want to really make sure that it's taking off and that it's going to continue. And then also, working on a pilot program for pressure spraying, working with for our retailers. So working with a organization and to windows and pressure spraying, because that seems to be where we have some hurdles, because restaurants are required to if they have a cafe permit. So all businesses are there, but it's a little bit more difficult on the retail side. The downtown amenities, this is our street pole banners. So we have the welcome banners, the set banners, we have Cocoa banners out there, Cocoa Golf banners, Pineapple Grove banners. So those all need replacement and management throughout the year. Lighting, the decorative lighting program, we just did the north and southwest 5th Avenue with new lighting. West Atlantic Avenue needs new lighting, so that is something that's in this number, as well as Pineapple Grove, the decorative lighting around the poles, because they have a lifespan of about 3 years. We've gotten a lot more than that. Yeah. And beachside.
I don't want to forget. With the new lighting, the rope lighting they're putting on the lamppost.
Yes.
People are locking their bikes up to those same light posts, so they're tearing the lights up that we're putting up.
Yeah.
So if we just
get
somebody cut the chain or put a bike rack or something.
Bike racks would be good. All right, so that's good. Thank you. No, we've had some vandalism. And that's part of the management piece, so our guys will come out and repair them as well. So, and then this is one thing that we have done many years ago. We did 4th of July street pole banners and the bunting around the pavilion. Put dollars in there to potentially do that again this year, as well as enhancement of lighting and of Libby Plaza. So looking at Libby Wesley Plaza and cleaning that up, working with our city to see how we can enhance that space in a more beautiful way.
Can I say this because it seems just like a good use of the bunting that you spoke of for 4th of July? There was a small group of people that tried to do a acknowledgement for 9/11, and they had a red, white, and blue wreath, and they had flowers out in Veterans Park. Mm-hmm. Is there a way that we can put that on our schedule and have that same bunting and everything used for next year? They plan to do it again, and the city allegedly wants to be involved so that it can be a bigger memorial for those victims of 9/11. If we could just put that in Veterans Park. It was at the gazebo.
Okay. Nice. Right. We also have done we've done the street pole the flags down and all the landscape nodes down Atlantic Avenue. We've done that on our own in the past. Safety Ambassador Program. This program continues. We've done some enhancements, and the teams pay annually. We look at an increase there, but we've done some adjustments, keeping this as a baseline right now. For their operations. So it's their bikes, their golf cart, and our team that is a 7-day-a-week team, and it's based on hours. Parking management, this is mostly it's all around promotion. It's that 8,000. We have a parking guide that we're finalizing, so updating that next year, as well as creating the marketing pieces for the parking. So really, that's our spend around that. Any questions on those? No. Some other pictures. Sorry, I'm talking and not showing my pictures.
Laura?
Yes, sir.
Does the city or fire department, police department, or CRA give us any funds towards the ambassador program?
No, that is we're funding that solely. In the past, we've had sponsors that have stepped up, and when we made the big transition, we have had sponsors to offset some of those. Yeah, you were one of them. Yes, some of our business partners have done that. So,
But have we ever gone back to the city and the CRA as we originally did?
no, we have not. The CRA has in the past.
Their budgets are all cut.
Yeah, the city CRA has sponsored in the past or helped supported any initiatives that we've done with our events on West Atlantic. So they have done that in the past. So we have received funds for them from the CRA in the past.
Is there?
On this point, if you don't mind.
Will you put your microphone on? Sorry, I just. Sorry.
Here you are.
I thank you. Most businesses that want to stay in business, when their revenues are cut, they have to make adjustments to their expenses. And so I'm just suggesting that maybe we think about that and look at where we can apply our dollars, whether we want to put them into expenses or promotions and development. It's something to think about.
Are you talking about the old school square again?
I'm talking about our budget.
Our budget's gone up $100,000.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that how we spend that money, how do we, like you just mentioned the ambassadors program. Now, I happen to think it's a great program. We're spending $300,000 a year on that program, and maybe we should be spending more, but I don't know. But the point is, maybe we should start to look at all the different expenses that we have, that's all.
I'm 200% for the conversation. The debate, I was waiting to make this later, but open debate is really important. The more we talk amongst each other, the more we disagree and agree and move forward, the better off the city will be with what the DDA delivers. The ambassador program started off very small. We did a trial program. Laura incentivized the board to consider it, and it's grown, and it's amazing. But it was always, when originally started, it was always our intent to get funding from the city and the CRA to grow the program. And that's why I asked, and I certainly agree that would be a good answer. And if the board wants to consider, reevaluating any of the programs we have here, it should come up. You should bring it up in conversation. We should put it on the agenda, and we should discuss it voraciously and make sure that we are happy with moving forward with those numbers. If you have any question, I don't want you, please, I'm not your father. I would like to think that if you bring it up today, that you will indeed bring it up tomorrow, where we can put it into a real conversation and where we can actually maybe get results out of it.
Thank you. I'm going to say that I agree with you up until the point where you said we should negotiate, and to the point where we're all happy. Never going to happen. But anyway,
to the best
best of our ability. Thank you. And I'm sorry that the officer has left, but we had an issue in downtown as well, which was a safety issue. So the ambassador radar, we had people that came in to solicit funds for an organization that allegedly is legitimate. The police did a full report for me to find out who these people were that were asking for money. They were soliciting for autism, I believe it was. And I was able to take a picture of one of the representatives' badge and forward that to the police department, who did a deep dive all the way to, I guess, the FBI to find out who these people were. And they were in our city without a permit. So they were then approached, their company was approached and said they can't do this. So now they're over in Boca, where I was again, and they approached me, and I was like, I know you guys. But I just wanted to let you know that the ambassadors, to be on the lookout for that in the streets for these people that are panhandling. But they're a legitimate organization, allegedly.
Excellent. Yes, and feel free. I know you do text, but that's what. Yeah, let us know so we can be on it. So I know. We'll give you a yellow shirt. How about that?
No, I like our shirts.
Okay. All right. So back to the camera project. So again, we were asked again by the police department to support the camera program. We've provided 30,000 this current year, and then again for the next year. The program itself, I mean, we are, I think, way behind on this program as far as cameras for our city, based on the environment, and we are, you know, pretty victim-rich environment. So it's really important for us to stay on top of it. We have to be careful, and our guys do an amazing job, all of them. I just think this is just knowing where all the activities that are happening here and all the people that are here, we want to make sure that we're able to be proactive. And I think taking our funding, this is a great example of what we can do to impact the community. They're already permitting and in that process, so we will see this happen this year. So that is, you know, I think it's a great opportunity for us. So.
Do we get access to the cameras?
You can see the crime. You can go to a tour if you want to, where they do see that. So, and then our Art and Activation Grant Programming Fund, which is what we all just approved now. We had $25,000 in that line item. We increased that last year. We thought we were getting more requests. However, we're still hovering in this number. So. You all have the opportunity to add to that, but I would, you know, based on some of the other things that we want to do, I did reduce that this year. So that's my recommendation. Our recommendation, I should say. Operations. This is our outline for our team. This is our backbone of our organization. This is what really makes the engine run. Our team is. We have a solid team. We've had really great. We've got longevity. We've got several members here on our team now in the 6-year term, which is fantastic. And that's something that is really, you know, testament to our organization. We want to be able to keep our staff and make sure that they have the resources and the training and the opportunities to succeed and build upon their career in the downtown place management organization. It's actually an official occupation now. So you can get a certificate of LP. What is it? LPM?
Licensed
placemaking
manager.
So we can actually get trained on that. So those are things that, you know, this is how we outlined the operations, which also includes our esteemed council in our budget there. So here's a recap of our forecast for our DDA budget. Any questions, conversation, concerns there?
I did, because the events aren't broken down by what you're going to do. Obviously, this is high level.
For DDA,
yes,
we're sticking right now. We have for the not additionally. For right now, we have art and jazz 4 times. Which we are evaluating. The 4th one, which is on last year, was on East Atlantic Avenue in the summer. So we are evaluating that one just based on all the total expenses. Savor the Avenue, our restaurant month, which we're currently in. Art Walk, which we are also looking at evaluating that one too, just based on summertime. It doesn't seem to be as robust, but we are doing some outreach with our community there. And then our Mother's Day program, looking at also potentially enhancing that.
The reason why I was asking was regarding during our planning session that we had. I requested that because our benchmark for enhancing the west of Swinton, including the Frog Alley celebration that was a historic event. Correct. To put it back in. I didn't know if that was going to make it beyond the cuts that were provided, because I think if it was not in the budget, that is something that we should go back and ask for funding to support, because I think it's necessary.
The Frog Alley event on West?
Yes, in the west. In addition to the Jazz on the Ave. Because that's actually only 2 events, and I don't know. And Spady Museum is doing some things. They're even opening a school. Yeah. So I think that activities, though, in terms of activation, we're at one event with art and jazz, and then we would have to find something else, and that would possibly be it.
Right. So those are the Libby Plaza activations,
yes.
And working with that the community there
Right.
to activate more often
Mhm.
versus doing big grand events. So sometimes when you're doing big grand events, the cost is much higher than smaller,
Right.
more constant, or a longer time frame. So one of the recommendations was to do a pop-up exhibition during Black History Month, similar to an event that was held at the Historical Society, where it really takes in and highlights the history of the culture of the community, the Set community, in a static display for the whole month of February in the plaza. So something like that would be longer term and more of a longer piece. But the Frog Alley event itself, that's
Can I
significant.
speak on something about Black History Month?
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Been black all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But when we only focus on Black History Month and now Juneteenth, I start to say to myself, 28 days and we're done. So we already know that there's going to be a lot of Black History Month activity going on. I love that concept, but I would love if it was done in a different month, because we already know something's going to be happening in February. So could this be done in March, so that we can have more pulsed events throughout the year and not just, oh, it's Black People Month in February and then Juneteenth now, we got to figure that out, and that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. So I just want to make sure that we're doing something that's impactful every month if possible over there, because if our commitment is to enhancing the West, it's not just Black History Month. And believe it, not only Black people live over there. So we need to make sure that all of the residents can actively engage. And not that they don't come to the Black History events, but we need to make sure we're taking care of all the residents as well. That's all.
That's
and
good.
I know you know
No,
that.
that's good.
Yes.
No,
that's why I thought the
good
Frog Alley event would be great, because it would bring out everyone in celebration of the historic area, and to teach them the history, especially the new people that have moved in, to understand the history of that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Laura?
did yeah.
No, I'm sorry. go
No,
ahead.
we did a Caribbean festival in the Frog Alley, so we're doing around the Bahamian Independence Day. Mm-hmm.
When the CRA tears down the 800 block, is it? The
700.
The 700 block, all those fields are going to be open. And you and I had talked about what we can do on the West.
Right.
And unfortunately, I had very grandiose ideas about real estate and building and getting local artisans. And what I found after spending time with Laura and the CRA is that the CRA is having trouble getting tenants just for the few pieces that they've developed.
Well, that's why we brought up the Main Street program and what we want to do on the West Development. That's a big discussion.
Well, we are the Main
But the
Street.
700 block's only one of 600, 700, 800, and there are plans now by other people to build that out with the CRA.
You being one of them.
I'm one of them.
Yes. And we are the mainstream program, in case you don't realize it. The Main Street
But not on
we're
West
the
of-
Main Street program for downtown Delray since
We have
53 years.
Exactly. But it doesn't include, does it?
Yes.
Well, it doesn't include
West?
Atlantic from Swinton. Oh, yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, it really does.
Of course
so,
it does.
So that was a whole other issue with the Old School Square Foundation and stuff to talk about that. But getting back to this, so with less grandiose ideas, it seems that development of the West is a slow process, and getting the
But if we put together a Main Street program and we put together a board, it could be very immediate.
That's who we are.
Right.
But that's actually us.
So we haven't heard much about it lately.
Well, no, we're not talking. That's what we're talking about right now. So, being
Well,
as
I think, is that
not the 6th, 7th, and 8th Street project, we're just talking about events
on
the West.
Okay,
So,
I agree with that.
But we all would like to see the 6th, 7th, and 8th Street project get developed. Laura?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Quentin, I didn't realize you're... Okay, bottom line is with those vacant lots being available, and we should come up with, hopefully, something emblematic like Jazz on the Ave that maybe can spread over those empty fields in some spectacular event. Have you guys considered that?
We could have a circus.
Actually,
Something like that,
actually,
not
the
Joe.
actually the EJS project has an event over there that we can probably support and help them to enhance through the placemaking programming. So maybe we should reach out to EJS and see what they have.
Who's EJS?
The program that helps the kids in the area.
Yeah, okay.
Right, it's right over there in that green building that's over there.
They used to be in the
Well,
building
They used to be in the
that's
green.
getting
Yeah,
knocked
they
down.
used to.
Green
Be, it's
building's
getting knocked down. Yes,
Yeah.
but they still participate in our city, and so they actually have a ribbon cutting over in Boynton. But we need to figure out how we can get some activity. And they had an event last year that if we had gotten involved, I think it could have enhanced everything to
Well, then maybe we
higher
could,
level.
Maybe we can create an agenda item next time to
Okay.
discuss some really more involvement in projects like that, because the big real estate, the brick and mortar stuff seems to be a pipe dream now and something that will occur in the future, but not in the near future.
Yeah. Yes, we've had brief discussions with the CRA, Renee and team, and I think it's something that we should have.
That would
Continue
be
those further
a good
discussions.
thing to explore this next year, especially since they're knocking it down. It's
Yeah.
their land. We know it's in a lawsuit, but again, it's really the CRA who we'd have to work with. I mean, we can come up with ideas, but it's good to hear what they're doing now,
Yeah, we've
and then
thrown
trying
out
to
a
figure
few.
out how to elevate and work with them on their plans, not
They're
bring
just
them the
going to
plan.
they're just going to grow grass.
Are we?
I don't know.
Is this a time to
confirm
bring
that,
up
though.
things, or just
Not yet.
Andy,
Not
no
yet.
comments?
No, we're
No
almost,
comments?
we're
Okay.
almost there.
Almost. then
Mariska,
then
you told me to
shot.
blink twice if we need help. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so moving on, just I wanted to give more detail based on our, this discussion happened earlier, which, but just to outline, when you talked about our plans for Old School Square, campus, we have the Twilight Tribute Series, which will start in November. So we're skipping October, starting in November through May. And those will be tribute bands. They'll be ticketed November, December, January, and February. We're limited on space, so we'll have to reduce the number down to, I think our capacity is around 1,000 in there, based on the parameters were put by the fire department. So that does limit us there. However, then we grow in March, April, and May to close to, we could be up, we're to 3,000 people. So charging, we're going from free to ticketed is going to be a small number, but we'll also have vendor fees. Any vendors that are on site will have an application fee, as well as concession beverage. We do get a 30% or 40% of those revenues, as well as VIP tickets. So we have been selling VIP and selling out for every one of those events, which does bring in revenues that could potentially offset all expenses. Averaging our expenses there are anywhere from 25 to 30, depending on the entertainment and size of the event. So for bigger footprint, more fence; smaller footprint, less fence. And then obviously selling that, we could get close to breaking even on those, which would then enable us to do potentially a movie night that's free, but those still have production costs. So offsetting some of those expenses with ticketed is going to be helpful and give us the opportunity to do more. Also providing looking at summer, reducing those into, reducing that number of events there, looking at those to be potentially free and ticketed. Premier sale ticket events, those we're looking at 2. That would be our national or regional act name, and others if we can partner. We're also looking at partnering with private producers that would come in and offset costs and expenses. So if we have a private producer, a promoter that wants to bring in an event every month, and there's a way for us to share expense and share revenues that benefits both, will help us also achieve the goal. And then a fundraising event that will commemorate our 100th anniversary of the Crest Theater building, which is in 2025. And that would be a ticketed high-end event that would we'd like to realize some revenues there as well.
When will the crest be finished?
I don't know the answer to that.
But they are.
I know the school is getting ready to open up in the fall.
Is that what the repairs are, just for the school?
No, there's the
300 grand, I think they're putting into the theater. I think I saw something.
They said they needed 3 million.
No, but I saw 300 grand get written on. Like, I thought for lighting, like, I don't know. I thought I saw something.
That was for the Cressy at the school, I believe. Yeah.
That's for school.
Mm-hmm. So more detail we can provide you as we're fleshing that out now with around all these events and get those to you. We've got the tribute series for sure, and as we now go into knowing where we are, really committing to that. So I think that makes a difference. But our goal obviously is to, when you look at the numbers and break them down, sponsorship, our goal, donations and sponsorship, because we see donations through the museum and through other areas and sources, as well as the revenues, which could be anywhere, up to $260,000, which is helpful. But see, significantly, our amphitheater was $700. Now we're at $390 for this year. Okay.
Yep.
And to your point, Harold will adjust expenses based on what we're trying with our new plan. So,
Well,
all
we
right.
have no choice.
Yeah. There you go. There we are. So we will need, if you have questions, changes, concerns.
And then we have a vote.
We did? Okay. All right, good. So now we just need approval.
I just wanted to make sure, because
Or
in
deny.
there, yes, the Frog Alley event, if that is indeed part of it, or is it that we need to approach the organization to take out a placemaking grant? But I think when you guys do it, it's much more elevated than when we hand the money over to someone else to do it. So
Why don't
explain what we can do.
Okay,
for that
so
situation.
let's go back with the team and look at actuals based on all the events that we have there, and looking at really zeroing in on the art and jazz events too, because we want to make sure that we're doing those for the right reason as well. But let's take a shot of that and bringing back to you all full detail of that and looking at what the cost to do that event would be. Thank you. Yeah, and you're welcome.
Jim, any comment on the budget?
No comments here.
Sonny? Miss Harold?
Oh, I just did.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I was attended the two concerts. They were awesome. I can't tell you how impressed I was, how well run they were. I want to congratulate Daniel and, of course, Laura. It's really first class. I'm telling you, this is as good as it gets with the resources we have. I was so impressed, and I have to tell you, I went there not expecting that. I just was so surprised. Also, I went to the Cornell Museum, and it was fantastic. It was a huge crowd. It was like really something,
Yeah.
So it's really happening, and I guess getting on this board got me out. Otherwise, I mean, we just don't know what we're missing in this town. It's really something. So, congratulations, and congratulations to you too, Daniel, for all the work. Great job. And Laura, I mean, she's there, and she's like everywhere, and she's around, and I mean, you could never get anyone to do this work.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work because, again, when you think of the DDA, and we're looking at the DDA budget, and then you look at the Old School Square budget, and you look at the amount of work it really takes, like a restaurant, you got to be there every day. It's a grind, but our team does an awesome job. So I don't have any budget questions, but just, think about the amount of work and energy and resources, and Old School Square is really important, but that our team is really dedicating to that, and to get to where we are, it's impressive.
Aaron? How you doing?
Everything's great.
Okay. Cool.
No budget comments. Just kudos to the team for all the hard work and everything that they're putting in.
I feel the same way these guys do, and I was at the show, and then, wow. I mean, there's a reason you got the award. There's a reason the museum is amazing, Marushka. Wow. It's just, I hope the city recognizes how important it is what you've achieved, really. And I'm a little confused about this question, but I'm going to do it anyway. The Old School Square Foundation, the 501c3, that we hoped.
Can we stay on this topic though first?
Well, in terms
please?
of if there's
Funding?
any money that comes in,
Right.
from if the 501c3 was to suddenly get $1 million donation,
Yeah.
how does that fit in this budget?
It goes into the
Top
Old School
line
Square,
sponsorships.
so it would go
So
in.
it
That would
absolutely-
be the donation.
So
right.
it does go into this budget.
Mhm.
Okay.
If
It goes
the
in the-
foundation's set up to be activating the exhibitions, the campus, and be for programming or if it's a capital, Old
So
School
if we
Square.
stimulate the
Old
Old
School Square,
School-
not DDA. Yeah.
So stimulating the Old School Square Foundation
Yeah.
for funds does help fix the shortfall of the city
Correct.
funding. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bring it on.
And that's why we talked about the grant program and
Yes.
further, anyway. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Awesome.
I'm
So now
ready
we just
for
need a yes.
a
we just
vote.
need a vote. Thank
Well,
you.
I'll make the motion to move approval of the 24-25 budget.
Second.
Liliana?
Arnold Burton. Yes. Cole Devitt.
Yes.
Alan Costello.
Yes.
Brian Rosen.
Yes.
Harold Van Arm.
Yes.
Vera Woodson.
Yes.
Jim Knight.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So the best for last.
The best?
We're going to talk about the award. No, I'm just kidding.
I think we talked about that
All
enough.
kidding aside. So, a lot's happened this month, and I'm not going to cry, but I just want to say thank you all for your support of my dad and this organization and me. Your gift of respect for him. And the team and the partners, but it's been a rough time, and everybody here has done an amazing job of keeping this ball in the air, keeping things moving, and not letting my dad down in any way. You guys are just killing it, and I'm very proud of the team that we have, the work that they do, this town. It's amazing and special. So. Just thank you.
Well,
very
we
much.
appreciate you, Laura, and the footsteps of your father that you continue to walk in and to help to guide us. I believe he is definitely shining down and saying, look how proud I am of the work that you've done. And the reason why people do rally around you is because you rally around them. So thank you.
Thank you very
And
much.
everything and every good thing that comes your way, you well deserve.
Well, he would be here and talking a lot
And asking me outside, are you for this? As he always did.
But he was very committed to this town and committed to downtown and committed to the work that this organization does every day and has done for the past 50 years and will continue to do. And the work that, the city does, he's very proud of the work that everyone does here and gives back. And, it just, we need to continue to stay focused on our gem of a city, and we're special just being in a room full of the International Downtown Association with people from South Africa to, Alaska, all over the country and the world, coming together with all the same issues and same problems. It's very refreshing to know that we're not unique, right? It's just, that there's issues that we face from gum on the sidewalks to, city officials in jail. I mean, there's things that are all over the place. Not that we have that issue, but I'm just saying that there's not, there's a lot of support in the downtown community, and that the downtowns are on various different types, from DDAs to business improvement districts to business improvement associations, but they're all working on programs that are clean and safe, marketing, place management, and it's a way for us all to learn together, bounce off ideas, and grow as a community to make sure that the heart of your city remains vibrant and economically viable, because that is what drives the city's value. And for us to continue that is really, really super important. So I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne because I know we're on time and I want to make sure that we're sharing.
I'll get through this quickly so
Okay.
we can, try to stay on time. I respect you all's time. So, okay, so really we just want to talk about the big lift this month, which was Restaurant Month for us. This is a huge program for us. Over the last 2 years, we've really tried to step it up with our marketing and just really making sure that people know what this program is and that we have a world-class dining scene here in downtown Delray. So this year we have 43 participants. Last year we had restaurants saying it was their best September since they opened. So we had a lot of work to do this year to see if we could knock it out of the park even better than we did last year. This year we did a kickoff event at the Standard. They hosted us for our kickoff party. And when I say it was a deluge, it was a deluge. I mean, the rain was coming down so hard, but that restaurant was packed. We had 25 people that came in and just signed up for our raffle. We had lots of great content. The restaurant was posting out stuff. We had influencers there who were posting out stuff. So it really was a great kickoff to kind of let people know that Restaurant Month was starting. We also have you'll see on your dais here, these RSVP coupon books. We've partnered with them the last 3 years. We do not pay anything for this. All we do is give them some gift cards that the restaurants give to us as part of Restaurant Month. So we really have gotten strategic about how we're marketing this so we can do it in a way that is that saves us money but also gets the word out across the board. There is no marketing stone left unturned. We do print, we do direct mail, we have ads in the newspaper, digital advertising, we're on TV, broadcast, and connected. We have social media organic posts and influencer posts that are going out. We have a dedicated page on our website. We're sending it out every week in our email. We had this kickoff party and we've been promoting it at concerts. So if you don't know about Delray Restaurant Month, shame on you. The other thing that we did this year that is new is the dining and shopping guide. That's also on the dais. You'll see here. We were very strategic about this too because we wanted it to be content driven and not advertiser driven. So you open this this guide and you'll see only 3 ads. That's because we only sold 3 ads and we wanted full page ads and we gave them a lot of value within this ad for our 3 advertisers. Thank you to Iron and Oak, which is a brand new furniture store on Federal Highway. Thank you to The Seed, which is one of our newer coffee shops in downtown, and Kaufman de Suisse, which is a high-end luxury jewelry store in Pineapple Grove. They are our 3 advertisers. Thank you to them. We've already started distributing those. We're printing 25,000. BJ has gotten them to all of the downtown hotels. They're in the, a lot of people have been already asking for these, so I think they're going to be very popular. Also for Restaurant Month, public relations has been killing it. We were on TV for Shining a Light before the Restaurant Month even kicked off. And Windy City Pizza and Brulee and Rose's daughter, who were both highlighted in that TV segment, said if people came in specifically seeing them on TV. Windy City said they had a huge day that day that we were on TV that morning. We've had 532 plus placements because of our public relations, 436 million audience, and the value of that coverage is almost $5 million. Once again, can't pay for this kind of coverage. The other thing that we've been doing are these TV commercials. They're running all over. We took this back in-house. As Laura had mentioned, a lot of our video production, thanks to Devin Dwayne, who's our videographer. He has, and our marketing coordinator, he produced these videos with Danielle and I. It's been running on the local CBS affiliate in high-profile programming. You may have seen it on an NFL football game, 60 Minutes, CBS Evening News. We've had 130 scans so far of that QR code, which is really great because it means people have to watch this 15-second commercial, get their phone, and then scan that QR code while the QR code is still up. So 130 scans is actually a really good number. And as far as web and social, so our webpage, our dedicated webpage, page views is up about 700 views over last all of last August. So that's exciting because that 9,056 is the entire month, and we've already had 9,700 page views on our webpage. The average time spent on the page is almost 3 minutes. That's up from almost 2 minutes last year. And you can see the top restaurants that they're clicking on: Deck 84, Sazio, Death by Pizza, Amar, Deeks. These are all the restaurants that do really well of marketing on their end as well. So then they go to our webpage and they click on their links, and you'll see the social media that we've been doing as well. And this just goes to show you with these results how that translates, right? So Deck 84, these were numbers from the first 5 days of Restaurant Month. They'd already gotten 166 orders on their Restaurant Month menu. That's about $4,200 in sales. That's the first 5 days of Restaurant Month. Death by Pizza, sales are up 25% over last September. And Papa's Tapas, which has not been in Restaurant Month every year, they said this has been killing it. They are so grateful. They said they've seen an increase in not only returning customers that remember they're there, but also new guests that they've never seen before. That's the goal. This is just a look at the paid advertising that we've been doing on both the DDA and OSS side. Once again, these are the web analytics. These are up over a year ago. Social media following is strong. Email marketing, strong. Average open rate well above 40% for both DDA and OSS. This is just a look at the DDA and OSS public relations across the board for the entire month. We were highlighted twice on WPTV and WFLX, that Shining a Light segment, once for Restaurant Month and then once for Jimmy Buffett Fest. We're like, are they getting tired of us yet on television? They keep coming back for more. Okay, BJ, it's all you. Visitor Information Center.
Okay, so as you see the stats for the month of August, we definitely had over, a number of people, almost 500 visitors that are coming in the door. And once again, every single person that comes in is told about all of these events and showcasing the restaurants and the businesses in our downtown and talking about the events. So whether it's representing Restaurant Month and making sure that they're very clear on the restaurants that are advertising and what menus look like, we give that information in detail on a one-to-one basis. We also have a new look. We had some work that was done in the visitor center. Thank you. So I'm calling it coastal chic, if you will. And the volunteers were very instrumental in helping me put this together. And I mean boots on the ground. I mean coming with paintbrushes and helping me make this into a beautiful place. So it's very welcoming. I hope that you'll all stop up. Also, the fact that we have our new restaurant next to us, Pure Vita, has definitely improved in the foot traffic that is now coming through there, and we don't have construction issues. So that has been a very big plus for us as well. Working with the Concierge Association of Palm Beach, we are putting together a volunteer training session that will be a program that they've initiated and have asked for my help in terms of participation with putting together what that training program is going to look like. Volunteers around Palm Beach County will go through a training process and be given a certificate of recognition. In addition, we constantly are recruiting people for the visitor center and our events as well as at the museum. So we are always looking for people to be a part of who we are and what we do. And we now are over 30 strong with volunteers that are a part of our organization, making a difference. And like Suzanne had mentioned, our new guidebook has had a very good reception in all of the different hotels, to the point that some of the hotels upon check-in are actually giving out our guidebook and explaining about the fact that we have the list of restaurants and businesses, parking options, a map, and so it really only enhances their experience, which is exactly what we're trying to do.
Great.
Thanks, DJ.
Thank you. It's beautiful in there, and I love the paint selection, and the furniture pops now while it's in there, and the new volunteer Claire was an absolute delight. My sorority sister and I went in there after we hung out on the beach and went to Pure Vita and had lunch and all of that, or lunch, breakfast, brunch, whatever, and it was fantastic, the whole experience. So thank you.
Okay, and as you mentioned, Pura Vida did open beachside. We actually, the day that they opened, we were there. We got invited to come and do some social media for them. We did that for them. We got up to 50,000 views on that reel, so that was really good for them. And then we stopped into the Visitor Information Center and saw our volunteers actually painting the desks. So we saw it all when we were up at beachside. So that's exciting that Pura Vida is now open. Just wanted to give you guys some save the date times for next month. First Friday Art Walk is on October 4th. That's our monthly Art Walk event. October 23rd, we're doing Art and Jazz on the Avenue. This is going to be beachside, so Atlantic Avenue east of the bridge. And then October 26th is the big Halloween event in downtown Delray. Witches Ride, trick-or-treating, Halloween parade, Kids Fest. So that all happens on the Saturday before Halloween. So that's going to be October 26th this year. All right, now moving on to Old School Square. We had a very, very successful August at Old School Square. We had, so Party in Paradise, Delray's tribute to Jimmy Buffett. I got to tell you, people love their Jimmy Buffett. Do not mess with those parrot heads. We sold 1,700 tickets to this event. And as you can see, these are the kind of events that really we are focusing on now moving forward into the next fiscal year. This was a moneymaker for us. Between ticket revenue and concession revenue, we had about $47,000 in sales. The cost on that event was about $27,000. So we are really looking at all of these programs and events that we're doing at Old School Square. How can we look at this from a way of keeping the access open, because that's really what the free events do, right? It allows everyone to come on campus, but also balancing that with how do we cover our costs and make money even. Not make money, we don't make a profit, that's not our goal, but to cover our costs. The other event that we had was the Journey Tribute, which was a free concert, and you can see the big difference here, right, with these free concerts. We did have a huge crowd, 2,000 people, but between VIP tickets and concession, that number was more like $6,000 in revenue, and the cost for that's about $25,000. So we're really looking at turning these into ticketed events because people are coming, and they will come no matter what, even if you keep the ticket costs low. What's that? So we hope. We hope. They will. So this is a look at what we're going to be doing for those tribute concerts. We're calling it the Twilight Tribute Series. It'll start in November on the third Thursday of the month. The Thursday is really activating a day of the month or a day of the week that is not as busy. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, obviously in downtown Delray, already busy. $10 general admission ticket, $50 VIP ticket. We've already booked most of our tribute bands. So we're going to start marketing these right away, and that's good. It gives us some time to really market these and get those dollars and get those ticket sales up. Right now we have Coldplay tribute, No Doubt Blondie tribute. We have Brooks and Dunn with Reba and Shania tribute, an 80s new wave with The Cure and Duran Duran, and then classic rock, Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd, 38 Special, ZZ Top. So those are some of the tribute bands that we've already confirmed for our tribute series. Oh yeah,
Gen X.
Well, we do have Barry Manilow. We're fingers crossed. Barry Manilow is coming as well. So not all Gen X. Okay, and I'm going to turn it over to Maruska to talk about the Cornell Art Museum and what's been going on there this month.
Lots. Hi, everyone. Freshly back from Seattle and had a great time and learned a lot, so here we are. So for the Cornell Museum, we had an attendance of 760, which is not great because August was a slow month. Just to compare, most of our months are much higher than that. But our donations were still $1,500, $1,550 in donations, so that was still really good. We had a First Friday Art Walk. Still 100 people in August is a lot to come in for that. We did Wisdom of the Waves. We brought in, as part of Oceana Phenomenon, we opened the Spotlight Gallery with a brand new film, so it kept the exhibition that was already in place fresh and active with something new. And then we did a talk for Wisdom of the Waves. We had 30 people in the talk with the artists. So we're showing this film on a regular basis. We also participated with the Chamber for their summer soiree. They generously offered us a free table for the museum store. So we were able to talk to 300 people, and many people walked away with all of our literature that we brought with us for that. So that was in August. And then we opened Nature's Palette, art inspired by the earth. So it's wonderful, beautiful art. It's created by artists, regional artists from Jupiter to Miami participated. We did a large call to artists, brought in about 60 submissions for that. So that means that our systems are working. We're actually getting the word out to the artists. They're participating. They're wanting to be part of the exhibition. And the one or two negative things that I heard about this exhibition is, was there a call to artists and we missed it? So people were definitely wanting to be part of what we're doing there, and it's really exciting for us. So a little bit of the stats on that. We had 500 people attend that exhibition. Tremendous. So remember, in August, we only had 700 people for the month, but we had 500 people in one night for that. In September, so we went over to a restaurant on the avenue afterwards. It was about 9:30, 9:45, and there was maybe 10 tables that had people in them. So we're like, okay, we had 500 people in a slow time. That was really exciting. We got over $450 in museum store sales, so not only were they visiting, they were buying, and then over $250 in donations in one night, which is significant. Again, we had 45 artists, 91 works of art, and also as part of this exhibition, we've added a page to our website now that's specific for each exhibition. So it's giving more information. As you see the exhibitions lined up in a rotation, you can click and get more information. So we're listing out the artists, giving them a little more play, and giving more information to the people that are interested in seeing the exhibition. We also did Climate and Art with City Sustainability. We had 63 people attend that. It was talks in the museum on a Saturday, which was great. And then we have planned, October 16th, we're doing a hot glass exhibition. We are featuring a couple of artists from the Netflix Blown Away competition. 16th, sorry. Oh, I changed it.
Did you?
Yes, I did. You don't have the updated version. Anyway, it's the 16th. We moved that back just to have a little more time. The artists wanted a little more time to create beautiful glass pieces. And in Seattle, I went to a couple of glass galleries, and some of the artists that we're featuring were in those galleries in Seattle. That's pretty exciting. So that's great for us in Delray to be able to show that work. We also are planning a WPTV demo at Benzaten Glass, which is our partner in this exhibition. So we're going to have them come and feature actual glass blowing. They're going to come and participate in it, but then that gives us a lift too. If they're tired of coming to Old School Square, we're still going to talk to them, but it might be in a different place. But we'll be there and we'll be talking about the exhibition in addition to giving them hands-on experiences. And during the course of this exhibition, we're going to do some live demos. Also at Old School Square, we're going to do some live borrow work in the front of the museum so people can see how the glass is made. And then on the 24th, we have a sip and paint planned. We're already selling tickets for that. I don't have a photo of that. This is our first time doing it, but probably not our last. We're working with the Palm Beaches with Susan G. Komen. A portion of our proceeds are going to be going to Susan G. Komen. We're selling tickets. We're generously receiving paint supplies from Flea Mingle from Vera Woodson, which we're excited about that. So she's been a partner of mine in this, and we're very excited to have that going. And then as part of the Seattle visit, there was a lot of talk about art trails and wine trails and beer trails and things like that. And we're very proud to say that we already have an art trail. It's really exciting for us to have that. And we're going to be enhancing that, maybe looking at some apps that people can just download on their phone and find the artwork. We do need to update it a little bit. We've got some new murals in the city that are not on there yet, so that's in my purview to get that done too. Not yet. I just came back, and that was going to be my thing today to go look at tickets. But yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we're meeting tomorrow with the team, and we'll be talking about promoting it more and so on. So we'll get on it. Thank you.
And I just want you all, we did some Devin pulled some placer numbers on attendance at all of Old School Square for the month of August. And, you know, it's a very slow month in downtown, but take a look at this. We had 20,000 visitors at Old School Square just for the month of August. That's up 5,000 over last summer when we were doing probably double the number of events. So people are, it's having a snowball effect, right? So just wanted to point out those numbers.
Is there a way to find out, since we were voted by USA Today, is there the impact of these visitors now knowing that Delray Beach exists and they're coming here from that ad and the advertisement? Because when I saw it on television, when they announced that we won, it was a wind-up. Like, it really got people, energized. At least it told me. Yeah, so I'm just wondering how many people are receiving from that.
I don't know if
we are working on, based on our advertising, managing that, but things that are organic, it's hard to put those numbers to, but
it's also, that's why those things are so important, because, you maybe can't quantify it directly, but you can, just by looking at across the board the numbers. And just to have the save the date on this, what's coming up at the Square, the next free Sunset concert is in a couple of weeks, September 27th. It's our last free Sunset concert. Get it while it's hot. It's the Resolvers. Awesome reggae band. They're local. They're so good. They put on a great show, so I'm excited for that one. October 16th, as Mariska mentioned, is the opening of Hot Glass and our kickoff to our Twilight Tribute series. This will cost you $10, folks, but it is a Coldplay tribute, so we hope to see you there. And I think that's it.
That's why she does our commercials. Also, just just a quick update on I totally forgot what I was going to say, but it'll come back to me. Okay. Totally missed it.
On the board comments?
Oh, I know. Just on that, just restaurant month real fast. It is restaurant month now, so just please, I know Cafe La Rosa has some great opportunities. Make sure that you're patronizing your restaurants, and when you walk in, say you're there because restaurant month.
Okay. Board comments?
We're under comments. I'll go first.
You're first.
Can I go first real quick? Just a reminder, and we'll send a calendar invite out, but the 28th of October is the workshop. It's at 4 p.m. It'll be somewhere, I think we're solidifying a location. And then also, I know, Jim, you mentioned this briefly when the Officer Green was here, but we did have some significant train issues involving the train that ended up closing down Atlantic Avenue significantly a couple days this month already. And September is Suicide Prevention Month or Awareness Month, so that is not something that we want to have happen here, especially for that reason. So one I know was for that. The other was a malfunction. It wasn't a physical accident. So there was a malfunction on a freight train, which caused the delay, unfortunately, on Atlantic Avenue. But they did have, because the freight train's running, there is 2 tracks there, and when the train stopped, you can't be crossing the tracks for accidents. So, but thank you. Thanks for our officers.
Yes, I just wanted to remind you all as public officials, when you leave this place, you're still public officials and you still have to abide by the sunshine law. So if you see each other in public or want to have conversations with each other, just make sure it's not about DDA business or business that may come before the DDA. PSA.
When you bump into a member of the board, can you say, boy, I really don't like this? It's not something you're voting on yet, but it's something that you might want to discuss?
No.
Can't. Okay.
You can say, boy, I really don't like how the Dolphins are losing. You can talk about that.
What you're eating for dinner or Tua. My boy, he's on my fantasy squad. I'm hurt.
You're done.
Good enough.
But other than that, and things of that nature, no, you shouldn't be saying it.
So basically, it's hello, how you doing, and then you just keep walking.
Or any social stuff, like just not stuff.
How's the family? You know, wish it stopped raining. Things like that. All right.
Thanks, Quentin. Anything else? Okay, board comments. Jeff.
Just wanted to bring up because they brought up the fact about the in lieu parking workshop. Is there a way to get something out to the stakeholders, whether it's the property owners or the merchants and so forth, so they know about what's going on with regards to that? Because it's something that's not required, put up signs and so forth, and I think it would be helpful. I know this board took action on it already, but I went out and talked to a few of the property owners, and they had no idea about it and so forth. So I think it would be helpful, whether it's through the merchant meeting, the website, whatever, just let them know out there. That's it. Thank you.
First of all, I want to congratulate the DDA team on their award. Well-deserved, hard work, blood, sweat, and cheers. And I am so excited that you guys were acknowledged for the work that you do in that grandiose way. So thank you and congratulations. I want to thank the police officers that I worked with on that case with the folks that were soliciting donations. They were swift. Now I have an official police report and can see what it looks like. I don't know why I got excited when that ended up in my inbox. I want to thank all of the teachers. I'm not sure any of them are watching us right now, but I want to thank you for opening up school, and a special shout out to Atlantic High School for their wonderful award, and for Principal Edwards over there doing amazing work with our kids. And then the last one, I want to thank the Delray Rocks, because I was able to go. I've been to 4 football practices and been watching the cheerleaders and the football players practice to get ready. And they just had their homecoming week, and they had the theme of carnival. And I had such a good time out there. And the competition for which booth was the greatest, I loved seeing the moms get behind it and saying, "You better pick my kids. You better pick my kids." So I want to thank them for being champions for our youth in the community, and the support that they provide for the kids in our neighborhoods. So thank you.
No? Okay.
Brian. Again, just thank you to the staff. Just take a moment, thank Roy Simon for creating this organization and being, the founder that he is in this community, one of the pioneers, all the Simon family, really. And, quick one, I know in public comment, we had the Sister Cities come. We're looking at the signage. I haven't looked inside recently after the renovations of what the walls look like. I think the bigger sign looks better, either the medium bigger or the bigger. But because if it's just the size of like an 8.5 by 11, it's hard to see. And again, I just think that there's some really great opportunities, just like the IDA focuses on these international cities trying to boost their economies. Well, the sister cities very much so is doing the same thing internationally, working together, great resources. And, it was interesting, hearing, because I listened to one of their calls. There was like a link to like one of the prior calls with like everyone on it. And I mean, there's a lot of cities taking really great advantage of the opportunities to like market through this international sister city program, which happens to be like our oldest, organization, like one of the oldest organizations, community organizations in the city. So again, we'd love to see that support and figure out some ways to grow it in the future. Not like a high priority, but like just put it in there, something that there's some opportunity to leverage.
Thank you. Aaron? Microphone.
Once again, congratulations, and everything else we talked about. Yep. Everybody knows none of this happens unless we have a good, clean, and safe program, right? So with that, is there a reason why this is the city manager's not here or code enforcement isn't here? Yeah.
I know that they do have the city commission meeting tonight, so that could be, because we moved our meeting traditionally.
Well,
So
the reason
they're
why,
invited.
The reason why I ask is because, season's around the corner, and we did a walkthrough with assistant city manager and Henry and on the intercoastal to the beach, and the same issues that we talked about still haven't been addressed, right? So with that, when you walk around, I was walking down the avenue the other day, and you walk past Kilwins, which has great ice cream. I lose a lot of money in Kilwins, and I'm sitting there having ice cream with a friend or whatever, and all you do is smell urine, right? Because the building next to us, which is closed, has the cover, and you can tell people have been urinating on the walls, right? So needs to be addressed. Same thing like the gum on the sidewalks and everything. We talked about that. Also with that, I'd really like to know if it's possible for us to be able to have a seat at the table when it comes to these businesses on the avenue. We talked about it before, but if I'm Muscle Beach or if I'm the Puppy Place, I'm livid, right? So Delray was known to be the opioid capital of America for a long time, which was horrible. And I used to think that Delray was a 2 a.m. closing town. So now we got a business that runs from 7 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, right?
Right.
Can't sell liquor or beer or wine, but they're selling a tea called kratom, right? Which gives you the same side effects as opioids.
Correct.
So the sober homes are even testing for them, right? So it's not a good look when you're trying to make this a family-oriented environment and you have an opportunity to have somebody that's in a sober home walking right by a substance that's going to put them right back where they don't want to be, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So I would really like to talk to the city, Big Al, everybody, Laura, with everybody we have to do something about, we have to have a say in what goes on our area of responsibility, because that should never happen.
And on that, I just saw the other day, I know the awning on like the parking garages and stuff, I know they're city buildings, but they are like torn up, the ones that face like Old School Square Park. Yeah.
Yeah, that, right, it's been like that.
I brought those awnings up when the posters were falling down in the amphitheater, because they're like holes, like literally
holes. It's
holes.
like it looks really bad. It looks right over the park.
Yes.
And again, maybe our ambassadors can use the Delray Beach app that I always talk about and just take pictures
they have
and
their
stuff.
own, yeah. That's.
If they have their own app, that's fine too. But again, it's just I like it when the.
Well, I want to thank you, Aaron, for bringing that up, because that goes hand in hand with the smoke shops that have appeared in the West. We are turning a corner, and now it feels like we're turning another corner, heading back in the same direction if we don't get a handle on this. 100%. And it is concerning.
100%.
It's very concerning that it's again, businesses and free markets, I get it, I understand it, but when you're trying to develop a city and make it thrive
You're backwards
in
now.
the best possible way, we need to really get a handle on this, because it could grow. Yes.
So I and the Development Services has been working to address smoke shops and other things. So there has been progress there. It's just when it's solidified, I'll bring that back to you. But Anthea and I have been trying to tackle that in a way that's and to the 5 a.m. we're also looking at that as well, because I still don't understand how that happened.
Neither do I. And go ahead.
How is it?
Say we have to have a hold.
5 a.m. close.
We have to have a hold on the tax license, the business tax license. You can't get it if you don't provide the information, what you're selling, and the hours you're opening.
That was all approved. That was all done. So the point of it is it's either there's something that's
Well, if it
needs
was-
to be addressed still within which what I understand is a 300 foot radius of residential,
Yeah.
which is late night.
It's the law.
So 5 a.m. is allowed. However, so if that is allowed, then it's something that maybe we need to address for downtown and advocate to have it changed. It wouldn't help what's happening now, but it would help for future. So I think if that's something that
Is there something to do with schools? Is
And-
there
and churches.
Yeah. Is there footage for schools? Because
There's footage for school. I'll have. Yeah, I'm sure there is footage for
Well,
schools.
because
And there's
it-
also footage for
Right.
historical potentially, or there we'll have to
right. So
look
if
at-
there's drugs being sold within a school range, because we have a school within a less than a mile.
Well, drugs shouldn't be sold.
Well, he's saying that they're
That's-
testing the
it's-
opioid.
Well, kratom is a legal substance right now, and it's sold in the gas stations. It's sold in the gas station right down the street. It's sold in the cigar shop.
Yep.
Okay.
It's everywhere. Trust me, I'm very familiar with
Do we
that.
know if anything else is being sold after closing hours? I mean, it's special.
That their code is all over them, and
Okay.
they're supposed to have everything closed up there. So, but I do know that there is a zoning certificate of
Yep.
use that has to be approved before they go forward to the next step. So maybe there's an opportunity for us to be part of that process. It's just working. I would have to work with the
Well,
the
thank
city
you.
on
Thank you
that.
for getting on top of that, Laura, and addressing it. And Aaron,
It's
thank you for
trust-
bringing that
it-
up.
Like I said, if I'm Muscle Beach or if I'm the puppy shop,
It is. It's a nuisance. I mean, it's they have the hotel. You have it's
Mhm.
all right there within that block, and it is definitely the activity between 3
Yep.
a.m. and 5 a.m. is
Yep.
not healthy for. It's not a coffee shop.
it's just
right?
asking for trouble. Thank you guys.
What? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I don't have any comments. Just congratulations to the whole team. You guys are seeing the fruits of your labor on this.
What Aaron brought up is just so important.
Yes.
It seems to me that and also what Harold brought up about the brick and mortar stuff on the west, and what you brought up about the west and the need for the events, not just based on race and months and whatever. Although I don't understand what Juneteenth is.
I can't educate you. Oh, yes, I
know.
can. I can.
I am trainable
Yes.
to some extent. I think that there's so much stuff that I would love to have that conversation with what's his name, Henry here, and I would like to have the police
It's a
here
bigger
when we talk
conversation.
about people being open after 2:00 selling things that shouldn't be and why they weren't there. And we have an amazing police department.
But all of this, and I'm going to interrupt Al, but all of this, it starts from planning and stuff. So they're the ones now having to enforce it. So we have to go back to the start and
what I
figure
was
out the
bringing
planning.
up was more about the time we need to spend on stuff like this, and the need. We meet once a month, and in that once a month, I don't know that we ever get everything out. And I know it's always 3:00 and everyone wants to go. I want to suggest at least I'm going to write an email. I'll write a letter that I'll ask Laura to send to everybody. But I'd like you all to consider a sort of workshop meeting that we could have on the in-between weeks. Perhaps every other week, every 2 weeks after this, we would have a meeting that would be more of a workshop on city issues like that and like the West, that we don't seem to clearly start, middle, and finish when we leave this room. We have a lot to say and we have a lot to discuss, and the debate can't happen if we're not together, especially since we can't even talk to each other on the street unless we get rid of Quentin. So,
Well, you don't want anybody sitting here who tells you that's okay. So.
yeah, actually, that's the guy we're going to find, and when we find him, you're gone.
And then you'll be in trouble.
But seriously, I would like. I don't know that everybody loves coming, but these meetings are great, and the conversations are wonderful, and the need for debate is huge. And we don't all agree on everything, which is obvious. Which is that today was great. There was a lot of stuff brought up, and there was a lot of work and movement, and that's why I was hoping I would have a chance to be chair, because when I wasn't chair before, there were moments when I had things I wanted to say. But we all have special stuff that bothers us that I don't think you bring out enough. I know, this is an important subject for you, and like the homeless, we talked about that before I was on the board, Quentin. And you know, and I'd like to see it get fleshed out in front of all of us, and have Laura and her team have a chance to really help us move forward and make accomplishments with it. So I hope you all consider a meeting roughly every 2 weeks instead of every 4 weeks. Then maybe we can really limit that agenda.
Stay focused.
Excuse me?
Stay focused.
Yes, but yes. Well, it's hard to stay focused. Excuse me?
To have benchmarks and checkups and follow through to make sure things and processes are in place.
That's
so,
the
yes.
other thing.
Yeah.
So many things take a month.
I agree. And like I told Sunny at the opening for the exhibit, I will be on your team as long as I don't hit the lottery, because then my name and address are changing. Just so you know. That's it. I told him I'd be here. Yes, I told him I'd be here as
We're
long
at
as.
the Monaco Grand Prix. It doesn't get any better than that.
Scratch that from the record, please. Thank you.
So I do want to address what you're suggesting, and I know Laura probably won't say this, but it takes staff a lot of work to work up a meeting.
Yeah.
So to have meetings every 2 weeks is going to have them preparing for meetings a lot more instead of doing some of the work that they're doing. So just be mindful of that.
Maybe we can streamline them a whole lot and make them very simple.
Maybe we can streamline our current meetings.
Aaron?
It doesn't have to be like this. Can it just be back at the office and just like?
Yeah, and everyone's welcome to follow up with staff or Laura anytime on stuff.
It has to be in the sunshine, so the place necessarily doesn't have to be here, but you have to have some level of order, which she's going to want to have, and the level of guiding the discussion. At some point, there's got to be an agenda, and you're going to ask for materials for backup. So there's going to be more than just you guys coming in and just talking.
One thing I'd mention is we were doing, I didn't see it in this backup, but we were tracking. We had our, tracking list that we kind of had brought up at one point. And maybe if that comes back, that'll help everyone see where things are. Like the trees being replaced on Federal, the stuff you discussed with, the head code enforcement and Mr. Moore. Like we can have that list, and that was the good thing. So that if there's movement on stuff, we can see updates. If there's not, hey, why hasn't anything happened? But that way, at least we don't have to run through every.
Probably do that more on a quarterly basis, because on a monthly basis, sometimes there's not a lot of shifts.
That's
but yeah,
fine,
that's good.
but,
And the other thing is, if I can, Chair, is that go to the city commission meetings. Bring your voice. If there's something that is going on in our town, you go to the city commission and you show up and you tell them and you tell them again. I'm sure they're not excited about it, and I guarantee, I know I'm not up I'm in bed at 10 o'clock, so I'm not up at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 or 5 or whatever time it's going on. But the mayor went around, took pictures at the valet stands the other day and brought it up to the commission meeting. If someone's up at that hour, take some pictures and bring it to the city commission meeting and boom, hit them with it.
Right. And I think from an organization, though, I mean, I know that is definitely an issue, but there's other things I think that are significant that we also have to be more proactive too. Take a proactive approach on a lot of these things, because there's things that are coming down that we're not even aware of. So it does help to get meet, but I do think we can probably I just don't want to meet just to meet. If there's an issue or something to discuss in just a singular focus, take that hour and a half, 2 hours of time focusing on clean and safe issues, versus trying to cram everything into one meeting. I think being selective
Laura,
would be helpful. Yes, sir.
Do you think that this, a meeting every 2 weeks would be too much stress on the team?
I do. I think that we have something significant that you need to, again, if you want to talk about something specific, I don't want to have a meeting like this every 2 weeks.
Could we have Al just meet with you and the representatives that you meet with monthly, maybe on the issues that pertain to what came out of the meeting, and then on a quarterly basis, the rest of us all get together to meet. That way, it's not a monthly thing. It's just Al
every other month.
Yeah, or Al coming with you to one of the meetings that you would be sitting down with one of the city manager or what have you, and then.
Right. How about this? Can everyone email me specifically issues that you would want to talk about, and us look, or really
this is
not
what's
talk
on
about.
my mind, so that we know the same subjects always come up.
Okay.
The West as a business, the West as development and events of the West, the big developments in brick and mortar, the not, the container issues, the fact that the West looks the same 30 years later after I moved into this town, and the East looks like a thriving business area, and the West does not. Why? Why hasn't it changed? What can be done? These are things that come up every meeting, certainly all the time. They come up every time we meet with the city manager, every time you meet with the city commissioner. We just talk about it all the time, and yet there's been no building. The BH3 project, the previous project, the next project, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? The DDA is not the commission. That's the thing. We're a separate organization. We're our own tax organization. We have our own say, and we should get a coherent message across on topics that we constantly bring up, like Clean and Safe. Clean and Safe is we didn't even have a rep here today from Clean and Safe.
The only one I really would love to see, because this is my third year, I'd like a meeting with code enforcement.
Yep.
That's the one area
Well,
that
that's
I
what I meant,
think we've
Henry.
never seen, and I would love to sit down with code enforcement to see who they are and to see what they've been up to and what maybe I'm off, but there's a lot of enforcing that needs to be done, and that's
Yes.
where I am.
Well, that's
but I don't
the
want
director.
to. I don't want to belabor this. Al, I agree with you. We need to figure that out, but you and Laura can probably talk about it. But we'll email you with our
Maybe
our
that's a
high
special
level
meeting that we'll have.
things.
It'll be a
Yes.
specific meeting with code
That would be
enforcement.
great.
We'll just
We'll
focus
start
on
there.
that.
I mean,
What
there's
it-
a lot of topics, so we can.
Yeah.
I can't do all the time.
No, I know.
What it comes down to for me is we can't do our role as a DDA if all components aren't doing their job too. We can't promote downtown development with an awning falling down on people. We can't promote downtown development with dirty sidewalks. We can't promote downtown development with dirty storefronts, right? So if our job is to promote downtown development, then we got to light these guys up and say, "You're getting the check. Let's do it."
Well, the city runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We meet once a month. That's why I feel that more times. Don't get mad at me, Sue.
Oh, I'm not mad.
All right. Anyway,
Thank
thank you all
Laura.
for
Thank you, guys.
listening.
Motion to approve. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hallelujah.
I didn't do this yet. The meeting's adjourned. Okay.